Yo, people, what's going on? It's the Call-In Khan Show, your favorite Saturday night call-in show, where you get to discuss anything you want, anything about your club, my club, Bilal's club, your agenda, your opinions. We're here to facilitate. You know how Liverpool are like here to facilitate other teams right now. You know how Liverpool are here to just be. If you want to get your confidence up, you understand, and you want to be you want to get through to the next round of the FA Cup, and you want to play a young team, you want to play a reserve team. We're like that. We're here for you lot today, people. You know what I mean? I'm not well today. I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't well before Liverpool played, and now I'm feeling worse after I seen Liverpool play. Is kind of a bit OTT. I don't even know. Try to play. Bilal. Hi, how you doing? I needed a partner in crime. Thank you very much for committing this crime with me.
Yeah, listen, I'm here with you to the end, as they say, man. So yeah, get well soon. Obviously, first thing, I know today you weren't feeling well, and obviously you're trying to push through, and Liverpool not helping, the situation, to say the very least.
I need therapy, bro. I need like serious therapy today.
Yeah, I think today you will get it, to be fair, honestly. I can see already the people in the chat, like, it's already mad. Today, I think the people are feeling it, but it's FA Cup weekend, and this is what we live for. It's not just, Liverpool. We saw Newcastle today. They had to hold that. It's the FA Cup, it's the magic of the cup and all of that. But today with that Liverpool game, it was not magic. It was a bit suspicious. That's all I'm gonna say. And that's me coming from a neutral point of view. I wasn't supporting anyone watching that Liverpool Wolves game. I'm just enjoying a good game of football. So for me, watching that, it's like, like how we were all enjoying the World Cup and we're just watching vibes most of the time. For me, it was just a vibes game.
It's a vibes game. I can imagine. You know what? I can imagine every neutral, and my phone starts popping off, and my interactions start. You already know this, right? My interactions were popping off. Man United fans, Chelsea fans, Arsenal, all up in my mentions, telling me to, because I've been saying long season for them. They're switching my side lines back on me, which is, hey, it's part of the game. You got me. Long season, long season. Brighton are gonna cook us next week. I already said this, people. I already said this. Brighton, we're the easiest team to play against right now, Bilal. We're the easiest team to play against. I think he was like, nah, really? And I was like, no, I'm telling you, innit? We're one of the easiest. Like, do you know what I meant? Not now. Like, did you see us?
Yeah, in terms of just, the Liverpool that I've obviously the first few times you were doing shows and I was saying, listen, what do I think about Liverpool and how does Liverpool make me feel? And the word that always came to my mind was suffocation, because it's how I felt playing Liverpool. They don't give you space. They're not easy to get past. They're not easy to bully. It's all gone. It's mad. I can't lie. The suffocation feeling is gone. I'm watching Wolves play like a lot of their bench players just running through, just having fun at Anfield and making, even like there was one time Jimenez went through and go in the second half. I'm like, he's got like 4 options to pass to. He just decides to run into like the centre backs of Liverpool and lose the ball. But any other player, listen, picks up a pass, sweaty goal, as they like to say,
sweaty little goals. Yo, these goals were sweaty. Did you see the 2 goals? People, if you haven't seen the goals, if you're a Liverpool fan, don't watch any football for a little while. Don't put on your TVs. Don't watch highlights. Don't do nothing. Like, listen to us, of course, but don't watch that game. Don't watch highlights of that game. That was disgusting. First and foremost, we haven't even asked you to hit a like for us. There's over 400 of you already in here. We already know why you're here. Studio's pretty much full as well. We're gonna start getting callers in as well. But first, me and Bilal need to discuss a few stories of the day, and it seems to be everybody wants to in the chat talk about Liverpool. Yeah, exactly. Assad saying talk about something else, man. But how can we talk about something else? Let me go back to the super chat, man. Let's respect the super chat first. The Nurks says forget about Vardiol. We should get Ahmed Hozic. Are you going to try to say that, Bilal? No, you ain't trying to say shit.
Ahmed sounds like a UFC fighter, man. Like, sounds like straight from Dagestan. Yeah. That's what it sounds
like.
Man
is going to the top, bro. Right now, I'm taking everyone. Give me players, bro. I need players that can run, that can fight, that can be brave. I'm taking them all, bro. You know what? I haven't heard of this guy. I'm not going to lie, but I'm going to check him out now. Thank you for that. We're going to check him out, man, see what he's like.
Yeah.
What was I going to say?
Familiar with that guy as well, Ahmed Zovic. No, I'm not too familiar. As I said, we'll do our research. You know, if he's a good player, you never know. That might be one to send to Julian Ward and all of those guys trying to do the transfers at Liverpool. You never know.
Williams, channel member, of course, says, "Where's the Toonami, Grizz?" I guess that's the shock of the day, as in like they've been eliminated, as opposed to Liverpool have a glimmer of a chance still. We're still in the hat, so to speak. But I guess the shock of the day is Newcastle being eliminated by Sheffield Wednesday, right?
Yeah, Sheffield Wednesday, man. They did, you know, they managed to win that game. There's 2 offside goals in that game as well, which is a bit mad. Obviously, I think they obviously don't have VAR in the Championship grounds, so those goals were, you know, let through. I only really caught the game from like the 58th minute, just literally, I think, when Sheffield Wednesday scored the second, because I was watching the Juventus game. That was my focus for some reason. I don't know. I'm watching Juve during the FA Cup weekend, but it is what it is. I'm keeping my eye on what's happening in Turin, so maybe that's why. But yeah, Sheffield Wednesday.
That was madness as well. That was madness as well. I don't know if people
Yeah.
want to talk about that. Maybe someone wants to distract us and talk about Juventus like suddenly going on a mad run, not conceding any goals, scoring in last minutes. They're like a machine right now. But yeah, let's not talk about efficiency and machine. Let's drag ourselves back to this FA Cup and what we witnessed today.
Yeah, so if you want to just start on the Sheffield Wednesday game, we can touch on that quick. I'm sure other people want to talk about it. And this is the thing with Newcastle, right? Do they have the depth at this moment in time to really go through many competitions? I believe they got quarterfinals as well coming up in the Carabao Cup. I think that's even might be on Tuesday, right? So Newcastle in that position right now where, yes, they're doing very well in the league, but they've got their 11, 12, 13 players where they can really do well, give anyone a fight, give anyone a battle. Isaac today, obviously, you know, I think that's his first game back in months. So yeah, fair play to him. Obviously got hooked off. But you look at what's happening now with Newcastle, it's that depth again that's going to be the problem for them going far in multiple competitions this season. Next season, this January transfer window, if they maybe add a few players, if they can, if not, it's going to be the summertime. Whether they get Champions League, Europa, worst case scenario, Conference League, if they somehow fall off a cliff, you know, they'll be in some form of European football. And I think that's slowly but surely they'll be building. And they've got unlimited money, man. So we'll see Newcastle in 2-3 years probably being able to compete in the FA Cup.
Can I say something, though? Can I say something? I reckon this is not a bad result for them, if you know what I mean. Philippe's in the building, a Newcastle fan, man, who's always makes valuable contributions, man, always speaks well. In their hunt for top 4, because that would be a wow season for them if they reach top 4. They've got dumped out of the FA Cup. Okay, fair enough. But I think they haven't got the squad to battle on all fronts. They're out of the League Cup, right?
No, they're in the League Cup quarterfinal.
Oh,
so they're
shit.
It might give them a little avenue to maybe pick up a trophy, because obviously I don't think Newcastle won a trophy like proper trophy since like 1955 or something like that. So that's forever.
Let us know, people. When was the last time? Yeah, let us know. People, we see the studio's full. I've sent you a private message in the order that we're going to let you on soon. Just give us a few minutes. We always set up the show first, and then we're going to let as many callers come in. Let's go through a few super chats, bro. Messi says 2-2 was a lucky result. Thiago plays like he's 18. Absolute no doubt about it. It was a lucky result. Very, very lucky. Thiago plays like he's 18. I don't know what you mean by that, bro. Thiago he's just been asked to be like run 18 kilometers a game. That's the problem. He shouldn't be asked to run 18 kilometers. Henderson, Fabinho, Silver Spring says are literal cones. I agree with you. I've been saying about Fabinho. Henderson has been accused of being a cone for more than a season, so there's no point going over spilt milk. Like, we know Henderson shouldn't be a first teamer in Liverpool. But the next question is Fabinho, and a lot of people have been coming for me saying, "Oh man, you're writing off Fabinho." Yes, yes, we will never get Fabinho of 1920 again, or even last season. Even last, he was getting a dip. We will never get that Fabinho again. That's all I said. We'll never get it back. And if he proves me wrong, I'm here, you're here, we all here. Rabadam says Coventry, Wrexham was a belter. Seriously, yeah, bro, you watched the right game. You watched the right.
Nice 4-3 there. Deadpool settings. Yeah, it's all mad. That side of Wales.
Klopp probably thinks this was a mid masterclass, legit. We haven't seen the comments and everything. Let us know, people, what people say, what people said. Managers, after-match quotes, etc., etc. Conroy's in the building. He's right. You know, nearly 500 of you. Smash the likes. That's all we ask for. Smash up likes. Come in, have your say. Show respect. Cuss us if you want to cuss Liverpool. Big up Arsenal if you want to big up Arsenal or your team, whoever was playing in the FA Cup, just as long as it's respectful. Shane McGee says, love Klopp, but it's time to change tactics. This has been a problem since the end of last season. We ain't got the personnel to high press. We haven't got the personnel to high press. Shane, I fully on board. It's mad, isn't it, Bilal? Everything that you said, like everything that you described of what we were like, suffocate, press, energy. We're trying to do the same with players that being either are too young and not physically up for it, or the same ones from 5 years ago that are burnt out. Where's the in-between?
And that's the thing, for Liverpool for years had that perfect age range of players where they were all pretty much in their peak. The ages were all good. You didn't really have too many young players, didn't have too many old players. They were all really at their physical peak, you know, and the injuries for like 3 years, it was like Liverpool didn't really get any major injuries. So Klopp was able to use that same 11 time and time again. And we know Klopp, even I know people now are talking about transfers and saying maybe it's Klopp rejecting some of these players. We know that in Nkunku deal recently, the other day, they said, you know, Liverpool had the chance to sign him, decided not to, obviously went for Núñez in the end. But it's these sort of things, I think with Klopp, you know, he needs that 11 again. He hasn't got it, right? He needs to find that 11 again. And he's not going to find it with this squad. And that's the thing, especially in the midfield. It's going to need some investment, but all of this is going to take time to get to that level and to get into that rhythm again. And at the end of the day, there's not much, you know, as painful as it is, obviously, for Liverpool fans, seeing how the sharp decline of this team, especially from the highs of last season, really got like last year, Liverpool on the verge of making history. And now this year, to see how this team has just been not at the races at all, it's definitely a painful watch if you're a Liverpool fan. But what I would say is this window, January, well, let's see if Liverpool can get at least one buddy in, I think, in the middle, because I think at this point it's needed. And it can't be like last season when Arthur Melo came in and we were thinking, Arthur, what's he doing? You know, Arthur Melo. Like, I remember when he signed and we're just like, nah, that can't be true. Arthur Melo. Like my club, Arsenal, for example, I remember Edu tried to bring him in, got blocked by the board. So it just summed it up. I couldn't believe it when Liverpool did it. But with this Liverpool team now, Fabinho, Henderson, even Thiago, I know today wasn't his best game. I was thinking some of the things that he was doing. Even after that first goal conceded, Alisson hits it into Guedes. A few minutes later, right, Thiago does a back pass to him. It wasn't a back pass. Bro, the guy had a shot. I'm thinking you're shooting at Alisson. Do you not just realize what happened a minute ago? With the whip. I was like, what's going on, brother? Calm down.
That's not what you want to do with a keeper that's low on confidence, probably. He tried to whip it. Wait, he hasn't taken a free kick like that.
I was confused.
He ain't taking a free kick like that.
And the thing is, yeah, he definitely, it's one of those ones where he might just be getting like mentally just like confused, because there's no way Thiago meant to do that, you know? There's no way he meant to put that much power on it and then hit it back to Alisson. Like, at that moment, it's like, oh, something's a bit off here. But a few things happened after that first like 44 minutes, right? That was all like Wolves until whenever Núñez scored, and it was a great finish. And Trent again, you know, when you need a chance to be creative, when you need something, he's got that Steven Gerrard factor. We can just pull something out of nowhere. That's what Trent can give you. That ball to Núñez and that finish was fantastic.
I said it in my tweet that Trent is the only one that looks like the rest or the World Cup. Like, helped him. Like, he's the only one that looks fresh. Only one. Nobody can tell me anyone else. I need to get some people in here, man. Sorry, I need to tell people. Oh, where's that guy we said he's coming on? He's gone. All right, let's get through some super chat before we start getting people close up to 600 people in there. No way near enough. Like, stop what you're doing right now. Right now. Stop what you're doing. Handle your business later. Just press the like. Press the like. Do what you got to do. Tap the like, hit the like, smash the like. Just hit the like. James, I'm not going to pronounce your surname because I've got way too much respect for you. I don't know how to say it and I'm going to butcher it. Refuse to sign Núñez for 38 million. Let that sink in. It's sunk in, bro. It's sunk in. It's sunk in, bro. It's sunk in. It's sunk in. Our very own Nerdbeats football analysis. If you haven't gone and checked out his channel, go check him out. My brother. He says Klopp's comments was, we didn't win any challenges. Nowhere. At least he saw the same game as us. Because you know what the nasty thing is, isn't it, Bilal? When you see a game like that and the manager comes out with some dead ass comments like, "What game was you watching, bro? What game you watched the same game?" That kills you, innit, when he does that.
When you're a fan and that happens, you're going for a bad patch, and you know what you just saw, and the manager, experienced that countless times. He's like, bro, I saw something completely different. You saw something completely different, but you're just
Why are you saying that?
something else. Exactly. Yeah, it's always a bad one.
Ash says Casado and McAllister against it. Lord have mercy.
Brighton are a problem without them. Imagine now with them two back in the team.
You see how I cleanly ate that chicken wing? That's how they're gonna deal with us. That's how they're gonna deal with us.
Is it away from home or is it Anfield?
Away from home, they're cooking.
The Amex. As I said, I hate going there. As my team, Arsenal, we go there. I'm like, nah, let me leave as soon as I come in. You know, it's De Zerbi now as well, playing just as good as football as they were doing with Potter.
If not better,
if not better. Now they've got this kid up front, that Ferguson kid. Like, he's built like a... Bro, he's 18. And we've been saying a number 9 for Brighton. They need a number 9. He could be that one.
But you got to rate him, though. He didn't go into the market, whatever. He just chose out some youngster that looks like a beast, and he's doing more than a job. I'm just 100%. Trying to... At the moment, like while I'm talking to you, Bilal, I'm just quickly going through the timeline on Twitter to see what the mood is. And look, the mood is what it is, bro. It's absolutely... Bruv, Liverpool getting hella abuse, and in situations and moments like this, they deserve everything they get. They deserve everything they get. That's what you got to say. That's what you got to do.
Any thoughts on
bro? What do you want,
maybe?
Bro? Could you tell me? You tell me, bro. You speak on Gakpo. What you tell me what you saw, Bilal? No. You laugh in it, but tell me what you saw. Tell me what you saw.
Not much. That's all I would say. You know, Gakpo. I don't even know where to start with him. You know, I think he's a 6'4" left wing. Like already, it starts off weird. You know, with Gakpo, but I will give him time and see how he does. But yeah, for today, didn't affect the game as much as I think he should have. But obviously, when the midfield of Liverpool is not even in the game, we're gonna have to keep it real. Just not in the game. How are the front men really gonna, you know, get involved? Even the 2 goals that Liverpool scored, one long ball from Trent, great ball, Nunes, nice finish, and the second goal for Salah. When you look at that goal as well, for me, and we start talking about offsides, what is an offside anymore? Like, I don't think, for me, that wasn't offside. I'm not gonna lie. Some people saying it's not. For me, it was. Just because the defender who was Totti, right, he's gone to head it, but he's only heading it because Salah's behind him in an offside position. So Salah's influencing his decision-making. That's what I would say. And then obviously Salah gets a goal, nice little touches, boom, finish as Salah does. But yeah, the whole Nunes, to be honest, right, some of the things he's doing, it looks like he is improving a little bit. Even the positions he's picking up, the finish just was good. And I don't want to just judge him, obviously, just he scored today. He's had a good game. No, he looked more and much improved. But yeah, the rest of the team, I don't know where to start. Cav in the building. You tell me. You tell me how you feel. That's what I want to know.
What do you want to know, Bilal? I'll tell you.
Yeah, let's give Cav a bit of a background in it, like what's going on so far. Like Bilal's doing the lowdown because I don't know if I've had enough, because you've never had enough of Liverpool, but you know what I mean. You already know I'm not feeling well, yeah, lads, right? And you know I'm committed to doing this show because this is one of our favorite shows. Like we love doing this show, don't we, Bilal? It's probably without doubt our most favorite show of the week, you know. And we love interacting. We love getting people on, and the studio's full, so there's only 14 people allowed in the studio, I think, and there's about 13 waiting. So, guys, you're going to have to be patient today. It is what it is. And you're going to have to make your point very quickly so we can keep it moving, so we can give as many people as normally as a chance to speak. So, please have your question, have your point ready. We're going to keep it moving and try to get as many people as we can. But, Cav, I don't really want to speak on Liverpool too much today because I'm not feeling well and I'm going to feel worse the more I speak about them. So, Bilal's asked you some questions. It would be nice of you to talk. Let me talk, as Kevin De Bruyne says. I'll let you talk.
Let me talk. Well, there weren't any real surprises today, was there? We got a performance that I think we all come to expect now. You know, we started off kind of well, I thought, the first 20 minutes, moving it about. Looked like the manager had sort of got into him after the last game and, you know, give him a bit of a bollocking, if you like. And then, you know, we make individual errors. We concede a goal. The wheels kind of not fall off, but they begin to wobble. It looks a bit shaky and we lose confidence and we start to play this pretty dead football. It has to be said. Like, it's when you watch the game, you get this false sense of that you're in control and that you're playing well because you have the ball and you up the pitch in the opposition's half and you're moving it about, but we're not really doing anything with it. Let's be honest. You know, Wolves are pretty comfortable, happy sitting back, letting us have it, letting us go back and forth around the back, go out wide. A cross might come in, but they're pretty happy to just head it away. There's nothing incisive going on. We're not creating anything through the middle. And ultimately, we get done on counter-attacks. We lose battles in the midfield. At times, you watch him, especially in the second half, Núñez, who come on, he picks up the ball and there's like a man trying to press him, but the man's running from about 20 yards away and he just waits for him and then just skins him and runs down the pitch. It's just like, it's all very soft.
It's like boys against men right now, all over the pitch. Even Konate wasn't his commanding best. Matic was getting beat up every single time. I don't think Matic won a single ball cleanly. Konate had to foul a lot to get through his people, like whoever is in front of him. It was that the confidence looked shot throughout this team. Absolutely shot throughout this team. Before we keep it moving, let me just get some super chats out of the way, then we can really get going. Yo, what's good, bro? Definitely not Liverpool, bro. Hope you're good. I'm not very good today. But Cav looks okay, and Bilal smiling like a fucking Cheshire cat. He's loving it. Klopp better sign a midfielder or else. Lol, hope you man's good otherwise. What you guys think on Klopp's game management? I think it stinks, to be honest with you. I just think I need to gather my thoughts, man.
The thing is with Klopp right now, right? Klopp is of that mold where he's not an old school manager like a Wenger or a Fergie, but he's not one of these new. He's like in between of these two generations. That's what
I think he is. I think Wenger. I've used the example of Wenger a long time ago, and people were like, "Are you mad?" I've used the example of Wenger, but guys, hold the fort in it. Bilal, you in the studio? Cav, are you in the studio?
No, but do you want me to drop out, come back in?
Yeah, do that.
Let me do that. Okay, 2 secs.
All right, cool. No problem. I'll let Cav come back and then you can hold the fort for 2 minutes. I compared him to Wenger, but now do you see it?
Yeah, no, I do see there are a lot of similarities there, right? But it comes down to a lot of those managers of a certain. That's what I said with Klopp, right? He's not of the same generation of a Wenger, but he's also not, part of that, even like a Tuchel kind of era or Nagelsmann, these sort of managers who are willing to tinker a lot and try and change things. He's his way or the highway. And all of the great managers of the past definitely had that way, like the Wengers, the Fergies, the Mourinhos. They have their way. Even Pep Guardiola to an extent as well, even though he does tinker, but he has underlying principles all that go throughout any system that he puts out, right? But with Klopp, he's got his one system and it has to work. Or if it doesn't work, there's no going back. There's no other tactic that he's not going to go to a low block and, let's be strong in the middle. We've not got players in the middle, so let's just compensate for that, stay together, play closer to each other. And then on the break, maybe then we've got the likes of Núñez and Salah, and then we can really start hurting teams. Still it's going to be high energy, high press, take more risks. And when you start taking risks when your players aren't feeling confident, and it's not just about confidence and feeling mentally, I can do it. No, physically, these players, we know they can't do it, especially in the middle. Fabinho, we've said it for a hot minute now. We know his legs aren't there. Henderson, he tries he works hard, but he still can't do it. He's not the same Henderson as 3 years ago.
Well, this KD sends in a super chat. Exactly what you're just saying. Didn't even see Hendo do his usual shouting, encouraging. Something is up. Physical aside, they look mentally gone. Very worrying. What midfielder would want to join this mess and think this is my future? But this is why a midfielder would want to come in and say, yo, I can fix this. These guys, I'm the new Liverpool hero. I'm the new Steven Gerrard. Or I'm the new Fabinho. I'm going to be the new Henderson. And I'm going to be the new Gini Wijnaldum. Because them three are still legends of the club. They just they can't run anymore. And Henderson did actually start off 10 minutes really good and then died a dog's death. He died a dog's death. Then it affected his shouting, it affected his ordering about. He was awful, and all three of them were awful. It's not about one player, guys. It was all three of them were awful. Listen, probably let in some callers if you want. I'm going to be back in just a few minutes, guys. People, smash up the likes. I'm going to be back very, very soon. As you guys know, I'm not feeling well, so I'm just going to, do all that business, clean up my nose and stuff. You understand? The mess. If I do it live on screen, you're not going to complain, innit? But leave you in the capable hands. Guys, see you in a bit.
See you, Grizz.
All right, in a bit. Enjoy self-care, as they like saying. But yeah, Cav, honestly, obviously we talk about the team and Liverpool and how, I don't know, thoughts on Klopp actually as a manager, because I want to know, I'm seeing recently, right, for a while I've been doing shows with you guys, especially with the Liverpool fans, and getting the reaction in the sense that no matter what, they're staying with Klopp. They love Klopp, and they'll back him to the end. And I feel like he deserves that anyway. That's my opinion. He deserves at least this season and then maybe until January next season to really show that this team is coming around and going to go on the up again. But I'm getting a sense now, and I don't know if it's just me from the outside looking in, that it feels like there's a bit more animosity. Maybe is that the wrong word? Maybe that's a bit harsh.
No, there is.
There's a bit more, pressure against him at the very least.
There is. Yeah. I mean, in my opinion, like I'm Klopp in, and I want him to be here, and I want to give him the time to try and figure this out, and try and get us back to where we were. And the reason being is because obviously he's won all the trophies for us. He's brought back the glory days, and like for me as a Liverpool fan, this is the first time I've experienced actually winning trophies and having a really successful period. So for that reason, he's got credit in the bank, but also because he's proved by winning them trophies that he has got the capability, and he's shown that he can do it at this club. So there's first-hand evidence there that this man is capable. By saying Klopp out, if you're that's your thinking, you're thinking there's someone else out there with better ideas, or better man management style or tactical style that can come in and do a better job with these group of players. And I don't know how many there are that would be available. So there's that as well. But I think the reason that people are so upset with Klopp at the moment is because there's injuries, granted, and there has been this season. That's not helped, and we can talk about lack of investment, but this squad is got enough quality in it throughout to sustain a top four, position quite comfortably. I would say the title might be quite difficult because of what you're up against, and anywhere in the top four, if you finish in second, third, or fourth, does it really matter? I don't suppose, unless you're challenging for the title. But to be sixth, quite simply, isn't good enough. And for me, it's just come down to the fact that we're setting up each game with tactics and with a style that just simply can't be done at this moment in time. Like, it might be the style that we should go with maybe next season, or in if we get players back, players pick up form. I get that, because I like the fact that we're a team that presses, we're on the front foot, and we want to attack, because I think to win the top honours, you have to be that way. Pragmatic approach can work for some clubs, but I don't think it gets you top honours being that way inclined, just in my opinion. And then you look at the games, and we just, without going over it too much, because you guys think I've highlighted some great points already, but you look at the high line that we've got, that's fine, but you have to have pressure on the ball, and there's just never the right pressure on the ball. We did it for 20 minutes in today's game, and then it just falls away. And what you find then is players, especially the midfielders, they're so ill-disciplined, which is crazy to say for guys that are experienced, but you quite often will see a Henderson or Thiago running beyond the forwards to press like the opposition centre-backs or goalkeeper. And before you know it, they've left gaps in behind them. So if that opposition on the ball have, half decent passes and are confident, and they play out and they play around you, before you know it, you're being carved open. And I think we can all see that. And surely Klopp can see that, but he's not really doing anything to rectify it. I think his approach at the minute is just, that's the system, do better. Whereas I think a lot of fans are like, I don't think they can. So why don't you try and mix it up a little bit? Why don't, instead of doing such a high press, you always got to put pressure on the ball, but why not do it a bit deeper? Why not do it? Why not let the opposition bring the ball out slightly and press maybe at the halfway line? And by doing that, what you do is you prevent, or you limit the space between defense, midfield and attack, and then they can be more compact, and it just looks as though we're just continuing with the same system that quite simply isn't working. And then you're going to get results like this. You're going to see games where we look like we're in control, as I say, and you're creating attacks, but you're bound to, because you've got quality players, and you've got speed as well. When you've got pace in your team, you can just put one ball into the channel. If you've got willing runners like Nunez and stuff, it often looks like you're creating something because you're up the pitch and you're kind of running towards goal. But truth be told, the attack just isn't dynamic enough. It's not good enough. There's no link-up play. There's no, 1-2s and nice attacking style and build-up. So I don't know what Klopp's going to do. But in my opinion, I think for the first time in his kind of tenure since we've been successful, he probably just needs to go back to the drawing board and just quite simply accept that plan A isn't going to work. And even if it's just for the remainder of the season, change it. Now, for me personally, I think Liverpool, the players that we now have, I mentioned the pace, I think we almost look like a bit of a counter-attacking team. We defensively, we're not strong enough. We're not compact enough. So get that right. And then just play, easy said than done, I know, but play on the counter, because we have pace. We have guys that are great at, when they win the ball back, Trent's a prime example that can just hit a raking perfect pass and pull it into the striker's running stride and things like this. So I think for the time being, we might just need to make in-game changes that, or small tweaks to the tactics that allow the opposition to have the ball a bit more. We try and play on the counter a bit. But I think for the first time, going back to the question, I think fans are getting a bit frustrated because we quite simply have been terrible for all of the season. We have been. We've got through in the Champions League. There's a chance we might still do something there, but in the league, certainly, there's been very few games that have been really convincing. We've got results, we've got wins. You know, we lost against Brentford, but we won 3 or 4 before that. We got wins, but none of them are particularly convincing. If you're a football fan that has a little bit of knowledge, or you follow Liverpool, you can see it. You can see it even in the games we're winning. You're just watching the game going, it's going to collapse at any minute here. Even when we're we're 1 or 2 goals up, you're like, I don't feel like we can see this out. And that's quite upsetting to see, because you can never really then build confidence and momentum. And it's just like a bit of a snowball effect. So I think things ain't good at the minute. But I think as quickly as it's gone bad, I think it can go good again if we just get our act together, quite simply. And I think Klopp needs to get his act together. The players included, they should carry some blame. But I think Klopp needs to just I think he's been terrible this season, I've got to admit. And I think he just needs to sort out what the team are doing.
Yeah, so I agree with a lot of your points there. And I think the super chat kind of alluding to that. Tommy Boy here, big up for your contribution to the channel. He says, why are we rushing to get the ball back in play when under pressure? So maybe alluding to the point that you don't need to be so gung-ho and go too much, maybe what Klopp's been doing and trying to stick with his system. Have we lost all the inhalers rival fans going about? And then it says, Trent is our best defender, but 2 ball-playing centre-backs will kill us. So yeah, interesting points from Tommy Boy there. But I think, yeah, it's an interesting point with Klopp. And because, watching him, obviously, at Dortmund, that's mainly, I think a lot of us really started knowing who Jurgen Klopp and what he's really about. He never really changed his style at Dortmund. And we all know how it ended in that last season where he was really stubborn to the point where it got to, he's like, you know what? If my way is not going to work, I'm just going to leave. Because I can't actually change the situation around. And I hope that doesn't happen to him at Liverpool, where he's like, I'm going to continue sticking with my ways. And then if no one comes in, let's say worst case scenario this January into that Liverpool midfield, and he continues doing this, it's only going to end one way. We've seen enough evidence, I think, over the last few months to know it's probably just going to end up one way. But I think let's just bring a caller in here now. So yeah, Ahmed coming in here, Klopp Mania. So maybe you'll give us a bit more positive feelings about Klopp and how he's been doing. But yeah, Ahmed, man, how you doing, bro?
I am doing fine. Hi, Bilal. Hi, Cab. How are you doing?
Hi, welcome.
Yeah, doing well.
Talk to us.
Yeah. So first of all, thank you to both of you for having me, but not thank you to Liverpool. Obviously, you were asking me to get some positive, but it's my birthday and Liverpool presented me with that gift sort of performance. So talking points, I will.
Happy birthday first and foremost.
Yeah, happy birthday, man. At least Liverpool didn't lose. You're still in the FA Cup. You didn't lose a Premier League game as well. There's a lot of positives to take still, man. You can enjoy your birthday.
Yeah, it's a life. We have to take out positives even when they're minute. So regarding the talking points, yes, it was Gakpo's first performance. Again, I will allude to the factors Grizz has been mentioning. He's not my sort of a winger or even like attacker. Yes, he will come good here and there. Again, we will not put much lens on him, but regarding his today's performance, I think most of his goals in PSV or even in Netherlands has come from like quality ball striking, instinct finish, right? And his off the ball movement, again, I found it lacking. Yes, he was linking up in first half with Robbo, decent enough, but then he faded away. So I think he will need to catch on it. Second point, which I want to focus more. Yes, we have talked about Klopp's tactical inflexibility. We have been like raving about it from months and months. But one more thing I want to put in the discussion is like, what about his team selection? We have discussed Grizz and Cav ranting about Brentford's team selection. What about today? We all knew Henderson had a howler of a performance against Leicester City, right? 2 out of 10 or something like that. So again, he was he alluded to be a proper starter. When we had Keita available, I would have preferred Keita. It is my doubt over. I think he is trusting too much. I am getting some signs of Fergie in him. In his last years, Fergie used to stick with his proper guns, no matter how his teams are being boring. Yes, he won that famous title when he signed Robin van Persie from Arsenal, and they won it eventually because of his market diplomacy or whatever you can put it out. But still, the point I'm trying to make is his team selection is also being bit off, and that is seeping through all other factors. And one last thing regarding my side is question to you, Bilal. So, as you are in title race with Manchester City, we have experience of facing City for past 4 or 5 years. What do you prefer more? Having your match first before the Cities game, or you prefer Cities to go first and then you have all to play for, or you know the result and then confidence will turn you on. So these are my talking points. You guys can touch upon it. Thank you.
Thank you. Some great points.
Yeah, I think in terms of the team selection point, I think definitely you should go with that one first and give us your thoughts on maybe Klopp's team selection. I mean, touch on Gakpo as well. I know it was his first game. I think he played relatively a safe game today. Didn't really try to take too many risks. Tried to keep possession. Tried to do all the right things first, which I think is fine. When it's your first game for Liverpool, right? Don't go too crazy. Try and do everything right first, and then build from there. So I don't think he had a bad game, so to speak of. But yeah, on Gakpo maybe in the team selection that Klopp's been doing. Any thoughts on that, Cav?
Yeah, you summed it up with Gakpo. He had just a pretty average and safe game. Safe's probably a good word to put it, as in he was looking and offering for the ball, but once he got it, he was just trying to keep it and recycle it back to his teammates and stuff. Never really picked it up and drove at anybody. A couple of occasions he'd pick his head up and try and put a ball into the box. Rarely picked anybody out. Obviously, the one deflection falls to Salah, and then that's where the goal comes from. He looks like a player for me that's very assured in what his abilities are, knows what he wants to do, does have a picture in his head, but isn't a guy that's just going to do it regardless of what the situation is. I think he's going to need players around him to be making intelligent movement and, take players away from him, open up space for him, maybe come, towards him and link up with the 1-2 and stuff. He's not an individual player, I would say, where he's just going to go off and do it all himself. I think everybody else is going to have to try and, work with him. And I think it works hand in hand. I think he's going to be a good team player, but I don't think he's going to be a guy that's going to, be a standout necessarily. I think he's just going to, when the team's good, he'll be good. And when the team's, like you've seen today, not particularly dynamic in its attack, he'll just look like a very safe player. That's just my opinion from what I do know of him. And I haven't watched him loads, to be honest with you. Whereas someone like a Diaz is the guy that's just like, I don't care how anyone's playing. I'm getting this ball and I want to make something happen. That's the difference between the two. One might be better because they're more of a team player, and the link up with Robbo might be better. If he's an overlapping fullback, he might link up and provide better openings. Whereas Diaz might be better in a game where nothing's happening and you just need a guy just to get us out of something. We've seen it before in the goals he scored against Tottenham and Palace and stuff like that. So I thought it was pretty safe. It's his first game, so I can understand that. I think as Liverpool fans, and certainly for me, it's a bit difficult to assess him because we've got a guy in Núñez whose ceiling's very high, but he's very erratic. And when he's on the ball, he doesn't quite know what he's going to do with it. He's just got so much pace and so much enthusiasm that he's like, I'll always get opportunities. I'll always get to the ball. I'll always be a willing runner. But he doesn't like when the ball's coming into him, he doesn't have that picture in his head as to what he wants to do. It's just like, I'll deal with it when it's here. And that's like a real 50-50 at the minute, whether it ends up in the back of the net or not, or a successful, assist or a good cross or not, or whatever. It's erratic. Whereas Gakpo's like, I know what I want to do, but if the movement's not good enough, or if they double up on me or whatever, then fine, I'll just keep it and be safe again. So I think as Liverpool fans, it's hard to assess because what do you want? Do you want the safe guy that fits into the team well? Or do you want the erraticness, the lack of composure, but that might create something a bit wild and chaos, as we like to label it.
It's a good point you make there, just to interrupt, sorry. Like that point about Gakpo to Nunes. And you see with these Dutch players, especially, obviously the way they're trained from young, they understand football in a very deep way. That's why even if Gakpo is not having the greatest game, he will always try to do the right things. And that's what you always see with a Dutch player. But I remember Arsene Wenger saying something about the best strikers and where they normally tend to come from. And it's these South American strikers. I remember he made a quote about this and saying these guys, maybe because of the way they're brought up, maybe because of the way they play, there's less rules, compared to European football, and especially the Dutch upbringing and the system and how they coach their players. A player like Nunes has probably been unshackled most of his life, right? And just been playing free to create this monster that we've got who's chaotic. He can run. He will give you energy non-stop. But today, that goal, I think he can learn something from that, right? When you do something that just seems a little bit more controlled, a little bit more calm, you use your craziness that you've got inside you to get yourself in that position. But the moment where you can just turn it down a little bit, then you're going to become a serious problem. You can control that. I think Nunes is going to be a serious problem. But yeah, that's the difference now. And the good point as well about Diaz and Gakpo. When you guys have your forwards fit, having the options of Diaz and Gakpo is going to be really good. But even Man City have always had those sort of options where you've got two players that they can switch on and switch off. And, one will bring you something else and this one will bring you something else. Now with Diaz and Gakpo, Liverpool will have these two different looks in two different games, or in the same game, whether you need a Diaz to come on or you need a Gakpo to come on just to control things. And maybe Gakpo will be seen as a striking ability from range and in the box as well. So yeah, on that front, I think it's a great point. But yeah, just to go back to you, Cav, on Gakpo and whatever you want to talk about as well, the team selection as well. I believe Ahmed would make that point about that.
Yeah, team selection. Look, he put out the strongest team I think he could have today. You could maybe argue Henderson for Elliott possibly, but back four pretty much picks itself unless you put Robbo in for Simi. But I think the team, if this was any other season whereby we were doing better in the league, I think you'd see more changes in the FA Cup. And if we'd have got past, I know it's Wolves, their Premier League team, and we're at home, but I think you start to see the stronger sides as you go on in the rounds of this tournament. But quite simply, it's based on form, and Liverpool don't have any. Or they're not playing particularly well, and I think Klopp does what he usually does when we get ourselves in this situation and go back to the experienced heads, get not necessarily the best in terms of ability, but get the best in terms of experience on the pitch, and just get on playing together and try and get some match minutes in their legs where they're playing together and they figure this out. And so I was quite happy that he went with a strong lineup today, because we'll be up against Brighton next, and if we'd have got a rotated side today, we'd be going into that game with no kind of form, no kind of cohesion, and we'd probably come to expect more of the same. So I get why he went with a strong side, but it's just disappointing to see it didn't really. There was no fruits to the labour, if that's an appropriate saying. It didn't. I don't know if it particularly paid off because we weren't even that much better. So it's a difficult one. I think he's going to continue to do this, to be honest, where he has these guys available. I don't think he's got much choice but to chuck in the experienced guys, his reliable, so to speak, and just try and get the points on the board, because look, we're sitting in sixth. We can't afford to chop and change at this moment in time to save legs and to give guys minutes for experience sake and things like this. Now it's get the strongest lineup out there and try to get the points. But that's my opinion anyway.
Guys, anything on the subs as well? Oh, sorry, Grizz. Yeah, if you want to.
No, you're good. Sorry about that, guys. I'm back now. Let's see how long I last now. Freshened up a little bit. Ahmed, nice to hear from you, my friend. Hope you've got your questions and points on board. We've got to keep it moving, lads. We've got so many callers waiting. Ahmed, nice hearing from you again, my friend, as always.
Thanks, Ahmed. Happy birthday.
It's his birthday. Happy birthday. Sorry, Liverpool couldn't cheer you up, but I hope these guys cheered you up.
Yeah, Ahmed, I will answer your question as well. You had one question for me about whether you prefer playing first or second, right? Against on the title race. For me, I prefer Arsenal playing first, getting the points, and watching Man City. That's the way I like doing it. I don't like watching Man City win and then we have to win, and it's like, I think it's more pressure when you play second, right? So yeah, I'd always prefer playing first in a title race.
There you go. Guys, was that the first caller?
Yeah, that's the first call of the day.
Okay, let's get some callers in on, man. Guys, callers, have your questions, have your points ready. The studio is full today. Obviously, everybody wants to come in and cuss Liverpool. Probably. I'm just guessing. Next is we've got Tom Izzy in the building. Tom Izzy, you're very welcome, my friend. Hope you're well.
Yeah, thank you so much. Big up to you guys, Kath. Good to see you again,
Tom, is it?
Bilal.
Good to see you, buddy.
Nice to see you, bro.
Yeah, good to see you. Look, on Liverpool, I don't know where to start basically, but let's just say that hope.
You've got words? Have you got words to say,
changed.
man, Liverpool? I haven't got words for Liverpool, man. Cav's good. That's why I like having Cav on as a sparring partner.
Yeah.
Bilal was just smirking like a Cheshire cat. He's like having like little digs. Cav's got words. I've got no words, Tom Izzy, man. You're a man who actually is quite sensible usually. Every time I've spoken to you, you've spoke with a composure, with a calmness. Surely you're not composed and calm today. Are you composed and calm today?
Well, what I have to say is my energy has been the same for the last few weeks when the restart after the World Cup. Obviously, the Leicester game shows some signs, and then ever since the Brentford, that's where the evidence has been shown with the results and the performance. Injuries hasn't been helping us with Van Dijk. And I just want to see a change, but that depends on the management, the coaching staff. Obviously, the signing of Gakpo, a little bit of glimpse here and there, but it's just the first game, and then he got subbed, so can't really much to say on that. For his first outing, first showing in the FA Cup, especially in the lights, the evening lights at Anfield. But we'll see next week against Brighton. Credit to Wolves, basically credit to Wolves, because I think a lot of people has been saying this is a game where Liverpool should be, in terms of form, Liverpool should be winning, because where Wolves at in the table, but it's FA Cup, anything can happen. It's a tournament football, you could argue, and I don't know. We'll see what happens next week with Brighton. We see what happened today with one Asian brother, with his Kwang Hee-chan, which I really rate, and he scored. He came off the bench. Another Asian next week, Mitoma. Obviously,
oh boy,
absolute baller, man.
He's been performing. So I think he scored, if I'm not mistaken. So I don't know. We'll see about that. But my energy level has been just stay.
I was gonna say, even if he didn't score today, next week he's banked already. He already knows. Do you know what I mean? If anyone's got any Brighton players in their FPL team, captain one of them. Do what you got to do. Captain a midfielder that's going to run through our midfield. It's absolutely shambolic. As usual, Tom Izzy, you've been composed. You know what I mean? Anything that you guys want to add or subtract with Tom Izzy, because he's calmed me down a little bit. But he's right. He's spot on. Like, what else can we do in this situation?
Do you know what, Tom Izzy? You are probably going to be one of the few guys today that gives some credit to Wolves. So I'll jump on that point and say credit to them, because they sat in, they defended. I think it was Collins at the back that was heading everything out, defending magnificently.
Yep.
And who I was really impressed with was Ryan Aït-Nouri. I think he was just ghosting past people like they weren't there. So he looked brilliant. He looked like he went off with an injury. And then Nunes.
Is this real? Is this real? KD channel member, of course, so he wouldn't lie to us. He says Mateus Nunes, our future player, completed more take-ons than any other player on the pitch, and he was only on there for about 30 minutes, 20 minutes, or something like that.
It might be true, because when he did come on, he was doing a lot of dribble, sometimes going back, then coming forward. I'm like, yo, what is this guy? What is he?
That's what we like about him.
Yeah, honestly, really good player, and should have signed him in the summer. Let's be honest, but yeah, if you guys do get him in January, well, no, it said next summer, right? It's not even January signing.
Can't be January.
Summer. Yeah, so it'll probably be next summer. But I think Kavi made a great point about Ryan Aït-Nouri, right? I'm watching this kid closely. I'm seeing a little Gareth Bale arc coming soon with him. Left back to left wing. I'm seeing it now. He's got that strong body type. He's got strong running ability. He's good on the ball, obviously crossing, all of that sort of stuff. He's used to doing it from playing wing back or even left back. But yeah, they're playing him a lot further forward now. And maybe it's due to the fact that, you know, they haven't got many attacking options in terms of the wide players. Pedro Neto is not even available and all of that. But there's some potential there to maybe play him further forward. So yeah, that's a player I'm definitely going to watch. And Lopetegui, good manager. And in my opinion, they should have won the game today, you know, with a goal as well. That I don't know if we even touched on, but they should have won that game. So they had a good game plan. And of course, Liverpool didn't turn up. We've been talking about Liverpool all day. But yeah, Wolves, Mateus Cunha as well, coming on, getting a bit of a watch on him from Atleti, seeing what he's about. Was highly rated when he was at Hertha Berlin as well. So they seem to be building nicely. They have them connections with George Mendes. And yeah, Wolves will see what they do. They've got a top manager, man. That's the thing now. They've got a top manager. It's not just Wolves, it's the Villas of the world with Unai Emery. This, yeah, Premier League, Super League, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's mad.
Tamizi, was there anything else that you wanted to add or subtract?
What I will say is next week with the Liverpool against Brighton, I think I'm more looking forward on the regional football here because here in Southeast Asia there's tournament football happening. So right now it's the semis. There's a shocker whereby the favorites Thailand. So they should be winning this tournament, but they got a shocking loss against Malaysia. Obviously, a lot of people writing off Malaysia because a lot of their core players were missing in this competition. So I think I did touch this a few weeks ago, Grizz, when I said Kaisuke Honda, he was the team manager for Cambodia, and I think it's the end of his tenure this year with the Cambodian national team. They were unfortunate to not getting out from the group because Indonesia and Thailand will progress. So I don't know. What I will say is Southeast Asian football. One day, hope to see one of the teams reaching the World Cup.
Definitely, bro. Definitely, inshallah. No, 100%, bro. We're backing it. Like, you know, the African teams showed us. You know what I mean? This World Cup. Hopefully, you know what I mean. The Asian teams come through as well. Pleasure as always, bro. Speaking to you.
Yeah. Bless. Thank you so much.
Look after yourself, my friend.
You take care.
Take care, bro.
Guys, let's get to 350 likes ASAP. That's not a bad ratio. I'm not going to cuss you lot too much in the chat. 300 likes is not bad, but 350 can be easily done. Let's get to the next. Was there anything else that I haven't covered that you lot wanted to cover before I bring next caller in?
No, not only. The only interesting thing was that Tamizi said about Keisuke Honda. You know, it's mad. I saw Nuri Sahin the other day managing Antalyaspor. I'm thinking, time's flying, man. Too quick.
Timing. You know, that's exactly what I thought when I saw Nuri Sahin defending the referees. I thought, what? This guy's in a suit. What's going on? And I thought,
get on the pitch, mate. What are you doing?
But you know, he still looks so sleek. He looks perfect. Like, man, he must have some proper facials and everything done, man. Like that guy. Pause. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a big pause.
Come on.
We'll even pause in 2022, man.
Yeah, man, allow it, man. You do these ones in it, and then you get me in trouble, Bilal. I'm innocent. I say innocent things, man, and you not just, you know what I mean? Who's next in the building? I don't even know, bro. I've been away. Do you know who's next in the queue? Bilal, would you know? Let's
have a look here. Could get. Oh, I see a special guest in the building. You want to get him on? Hiding. If you scroll down. Oh,
is there a special guest in the building?
Special guest, a little.
No, leave him there for a little while. I just see him now.
He's smiling now.
Yeah. I just see him now. Leave him there for a little while. Channel members. We're looking for channel members and new callers. Nippon. Please have your point. Please have your point and question ready. There you go, sir. The floor is yours.
What did you think of the game today, Grizz?
Oh, mate. Why do you have
no hellos, no manners? Come on, Nippon, man.
You said get to the point. You said get to the point.
Nippon, it was like watching Chelsea.
Look, you and me, our teams are in the mud together. We are in the mud together, Grizz. Let's have it right.
Correct. First, tell us, as we always ask you, where are you tonight? Where are you feasting tonight?
Where am I tonight? Do you know a place called Richmond on Thames?
More than your footballing opinions, people always want to know where you are tonight. You know, what you eating tonight? What's the ambience like tonight? Tell us, Nippon.
Well, I'm at a very good restaurant in Richmond-on-Thames called the Four Regions. It's near their tube station.
Okay.
Speaking of which, I need to take you to my local whenever you're in West London.
I'm ready, sir. I'm ready. Let's do this sometime. You know, you've been promising me. I don't eat Chinese though. What kind of restaurants we talking?
Well, there's one. There's a place called. Well, sorry, I'm telling my culinary knowledge here. There's a good Lahori restaurant in Eastcote.
Sounds good to me, brother. Sounds good to me. We're gonna hook up. Well, what did you think of the game? More than because our opinions are gonna come tomorrow on the RedFellas. Obviously, you probably don't watch it. It's a Liverpool show. Me and Cav
I put it on the background. I listen to. Look, I'm a football fan first and foremost.
Legend.
So I love a good football show. And I always promote your channel on my podcasts.
You're an absolute legend and a hero of mine. But what did you think? Because I think we want to know what you thought.
Look, in my opinion, you might disagree with me. I think Wolves were unlucky not to have that goal, which makes it a little more difficult because Molineux isn't an easy ground to go to. Or is the replay at Anfield?
Yeah, be it
I agree
Molineux,
with you.
you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think the best thing that could have happened for Liverpool was them to actually win the game today.
No, fair enough. We agree with you. Nippon, I'm really sorry. There's a lot of background noise with plates clattering and stuff. But
Sorry. I'll try and be at home for the next call-in show.
No, but we've got your points, and we'll try to address what you've just said there. And message me, brother. We hook up sometime. Message me.
Yeah, before you let me go, I want to ask you all a question. Well, actually, yeah, all of you. Who would you want to sign this window? All of you, starting with whoever wants to start.
Well, should I go first? Because I don't know.
Bilal, you go. Tell us. Talk to us.
You can't ask me this question, first of all, during January transfer window where I'm seeing new names every 2 seconds. I want him. But if you have to get me to pick one player, looking at Arsenal, it's probably got to be an attacker, right? And for me, yeah, João Felix, I think that'll be probably the one player that I'd like to see just come in. I think, yeah, if we get him in, it could be like a Odegaard type, signing where not having the best time at Atleti, and then we bring him to our club and maybe revive him a little bit. The history of my club, to be honest, reviving players. So yeah, maybe he could be one player, but also I'd love a midfielder as well. But if he's just one player, I think another attacker is needed. So yeah, I'll go with João Felix.
Yeah, well, to be fair, Simeone Ball has played a huge part in him not being a good player.
Agreed.
Grizz, I think you're on mute, bro.
Grizz, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry. I meant to mute you because there's so much clattering in the background. Nippon, try to call in from a quieter environment next time. Well, we love you. Thank you very much for your input. And
Thanks for having me, Grizz.
Always,
Cheers,
brother.
Nippon.
Always.
See
Take care. Sorry. I hate when this happens to Nippon. Like, he's such an entertainer. He's such a.
What happened 2 weeks? Was it 2 weeks ago?
He was on a bus stop or something in it.
No, the airport.
He came in.
Is it the airport?
It wasn't even the airport. Yeah, he might have been on the airport. Oh yeah, he was in the airport one time.
I swear it was at the airport.
No, I think he came on and then everything was looking fine. Then he tried to speak, couldn't hear us, couldn't hear him. So always.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we thought he had it perfect. We thought today's perfect surroundings, and he couldn't. His connection was poor guy, man. But he's promised me a meal, so do you know what I mean? Here's what it is. We got Ducotto next in the building. Let's see if we can get Ducotto in the building. Hey, brother. Hope you're doing well, my friend.
Happy New Year's, boys. Happy New Year's, gentlemen. I hope you all are doing well. Grizz, I'm back, man.
How are you, bro? I like the first bit. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I want to say that first, again, I'm Man United always and foremost. So seeing a result like this, it reiterates what I was trying to tell you from before, right? It's like, it's your midfield, man. You guys really don't have a link-up play. And it's like, it's what, again, when we had McTominay and Fred for those 3 years, and it was like beating a dead horse where it's like, you're expecting something different, but the result's going to happen. It's going to be a hard-fought draw or a hard-fought win at the very least, right? And that's what you guys are going through right now. It's like teams have caught up to your style of play. Teams know exactly how Liverpool's going to play, and you guys don't have the personnel to maintain that standard. Again, the standard that you guys have set for yourself, right? You know, am I happy that Nunes scored? Not really, but I know for Liverpool fans, it's a sighting, right? The issue is you guys have no link-up play. If Thiago is your best midfield, even though he's quality, he's class, he can't be your best midfield at this point in time, right? And so for me, I just look at it as just like, yes, you guys need a midfield, but then I feel like Klopp's starting to lose that dressing room, man. Like I know I might be early to the point, but if you guys don't get a refresh, I think Klopp's losing that dressing room. I don't see that style of play that I'm not scared of Liverpool. Like, can you imagine that March 4th? I'm looking forward to that date.
Wow.
March 4th. You know what I'm trying to say? Where we come to Anfield to show you guys. No. Like, we're starting with City. We're going to Arsenal. Like, I'm with Ten Hag. Like, you guys have to understand, it's a different energy around here. You know what I mean? Ten Hag
ball is full of effect. I'm hearing you guys.
And like, I'm sitting here just smiling. I'm seeing the comments, the fan reaction. You guys drew with Wolves. They changed.
We didn't even draw with Wolves first team. We drew with Wolves' reserve and youngsters.
Yes, and truthfully, I don't think that was an offside. That should have been a third goal, right? So you guys have a lot of, looking at your chest to be like, or like looking at yourself in the mirror to be like, you know what? We aren't as good as we think we are. Top 4 might even be a stretch. Like, it's, again, you're 6. I don't want to go too much in on you. Like, you're my brother. I love you.
No. Do what you got to do, bro. You know what I'm saying, innit? Do what you got to do, because football is
it's a humbler.
We already know. We already know.
I have my roommate over there. Like,
talk.
Listen, my roommate, he's a Liverpool fan, and he's just dreading right now. I'm like, I haven't seen you guys look like this in like quite some time, right? But the question that I have for the panel, the question that I have for the panel is again, I know not making top 4 is a big deal, but with the type of players that are up for grabs this summer, maybe, going forward, is not getting top 4 a bigger blow than what you guys expect it to be?
Blue Chip's in the building as well. Let's welcome Blue Chip. Cav and Blue Chip, do you want to take that one? Because it's an important point, man. Which one's worse? I don't know. One of you go first.
Have you go through? Go on, mate. Welcome as well.
Nice one. First of all, big up to Dakota. It seems as if he's from the States.
Canada.
Oh, even worse then. And he's a United fan. Fucking hell. Look, of course, if we don't get top 4, it will be shambles for this football club. It will be a disaster if we don't get top 4. But you know what? Let you guys have a little. You've got a smile on your face. You got some. You're shining. Look at you. You got your vest on today.
We're 7 points clear of Liverpool.
Yeah, but you're not catching us. You're catching Man City. You're catching your noisy neighbors. Come on. You're not catching Liverpool. We're not the team to emulate. It's your noisy neighbors next door that you got to emulate. Okay.
14th. So remember, I said the 14th. We will get a win against City. Remember that.
Yeah, and Arsenal as well.
Well, Arsenal, we beat them once. I need City to help, Tottenham to help.
If you beat City and Arsenal, are you title contenders?
Say it again.
If you beat both of those teams in the next 2 weeks, are you title contenders?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Bilal, I like the fire that's coming his way.
Can I ask?
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to ask a question to the Liverpool fans. Cav, I'm not going to ask myself. Avi and Cav, out of those games, how do we want these results to go? Because this is tricky for us.
I want Man City and Arsenal to win. I will never pip United to beat anyone. I don't care if it benefits us or not. I want Manchester City and Arsenal to win.
Even when it benefited us for the league last season.
Don't care for it, Grizz. I hate. My thoughts on Manchester United. I'm sorry, Dakota. You're a respectful guy. I respect you, but
I would
that football club, and I feel sorry for your neighbor as well. If your neighbor wants to move over to the USA, and I've got a spare room if you want to stay with me, no problem.
I expect that from you guys, but for me, it's just like if we go 6 points, if we beat City and we beat Arsenal, there's nothing that nobody can tell me with what we have right now. Remember, at the end of the day, in terms of on paper, we shouldn't, like, again, our personnel compared to the likes of a City or Liverpool on paper, we're below you guys. So to be, you know, ahead of you guys at this part of the season, year one, with new coaches, the drama that Ronaldo brought us, the inconsistency, Maguire, like, you have to understand where we are right now. We're like Newcastle. We're ahead of schedule in terms of what the coach wants. We have the personnel to do it.
You can't say you're ahead of schedule when you spent the money that you have last summer. When you bought the players of Anthony, Casemiro, you can't say you're ahead of schedule. You are where you're meant to be. You're supposed to be top four. What were your expectations? No, what were your okay? A question for you. What were your expectations when Erik ten Hag took over? What were your real expectations? And once you brought the players in, Eriksen, Casemiro, Anthony, what were your expectations?
So again, it's a two-part question. So I'm gonna answer your first part. When we first got Ten Hag, my goal was I need to see United bring a trophy. I don't care what trophy it is. It's been 5 years. We have not brought a trophy. Ten Hag, this has to be your mantle. Get us a trophy, right? Once we brought in Eriksen, once we brought in Anthony Martinez, Casemiro was icing on the cake. When all the Liverpool fans were going in, the Graham Sounez's and Carragher's and these Liverpool guys that I watched, these guys were clowning Casemiro. What? Real Madrid knows how to get rid of players before their value's done. And now you're seeing the class that is Casemiro. You know what I'm trying to say? So Casemiro in your team right now, you guys are jumping for joy. So my expectation now.
Listen, we take McTominay right now, man. Allow Casemiro.
We wouldn't take McTominay.
Off the bench. My goal, right, or the mantle I have for my team right now with the signings is a trophy still and top four. We need top four. I'm tired of seeing my team play on Thursdays in that league, that Europa League. I'm tired of seeing it.
I'm going to be very honest with you. I like your energy because a lot of Man United are still giving it the no. This is a free hit for us this season.
Very skeptical.
Yeah. We're happy to be here. You ain't happy to be here, shit, man. You're overjoyed. This is your chance because we ain't gonna stay this shit. Everyone knows we ain't gonna stay.
No.
We're gonna come back. Arsenal are coming back. Chelsea are gonna spend another 500,000. You know what I mean? Spurs might be still that shit because Conte might go wherever. We don't know. We don't know. Newcastle are rising. So this is your chance because I hear all the energy that you brought. And listen, at the end of the day, you're right to bring that energy, bro. Your team has done you good. You're feeling like this because you're good. You're chilling with your vest on. You know what I mean? And relaxing. Yeah. You're chilling. You're chilling right now. This is what your club has done for you. I'm here, high temperature, cold, got a balaclava on, man, padded up. My team's depressing me. So you got every right to show the energy. So what you've said now, because you already know, we like reminding people.
Come on, I'm here.
We already know. You already know. So you're saying a trophy. You said a trophy. You're gonna bust up Arsenal, City, and you can't wait to play Liverpool.
March 4th. Remember, Grizz. Remember, you're the one that says when I put my war hat on, I made sure I set a reminder. You said every time I wear my war hat, we go on our run.
It's tucked away at the moment. It's tucked away at the
moment. Lost, draw, won, lost. Like I see.
Okay.
Written down everything. I don't forget. So please, we have
bring him back on a show. Grizz, bring him back on a show when
he's one of my favorite callers, bro. He's back. He's there. Listen, we gotta keep it moving.
I love you guys. Happy New Year's. Thank you for having me. I wish you guys.
You're a legend.
Feel better, bro.
You're a legend. Take care of yourself and your family, my brother.
See you, bro.
Bye bye. Listen, this is what Liverpool does to you, man. Like,
and why is Bilal here today? What's he doing here as well today? Like, he's lost of all. What's he?
He's loving it. Cheshire Cat is smiling.
I'm
Look at
just
that
here to
FA Cup
enjoy,
background.
man.
What's his background about the FA Cup? Is that what your target is this season? FA Cup top 4, yeah? You're not going for the league?
Listen, I'll take another FA Cup. I need that. Give me 15.
Avi's coming with some aggressive energy.
The United fans got in your head already. Listen, let the United fans be happy. I need this energy to continue just so they.
You know what? I swear to God, if you guys don't beat United, right, and just peg them down a little bit. If you guys don't believe, I'll come for you. I'll come for you on your Twitter that you run, that Twitter account that you run. I'm gonna come for you. Don't worry. Listen, Grizz, I only
Emirates.
If people don't know, hold on. First and foremost, every single one of you needs to go and follow Bilal Ardale right now on Twitter.
Brilliant
because
account.
The guy is too funny. Yeah, he don't. Sometimes, you feel like smashing him up when you read some of his tweets, but then you sit back and you realize he's too funny. Go and follow Bilal
I told
right
him to
now.
smile the
people.
other day.
My favorite word, the smile. And today I was laughing, man. Oh my guy, little Mane Salah comment. He's jumping up out of his
Oh, yeah, I
bed.
saw
He's like,
that.
yo,
Grizz, I'm gonna have to jump out because I'll be on tomorrow if I'm still allowed. But hey, Mateus Nunes, was everyone happy with his performance today?
Oh, please.
A little-
Why would we be
A little
He's
dress
not wearing the
rehearsal.
Liverpool red
A little
yet.
dress rehearsal today. He looked good, huh? He looked good in that 15-20 minute cameo cap.
I'm only interested in now. The future, only God
Forget
knows.
now. Now we'll talk
Forget
next
now.
week.
Where are we now?
Hopefully next week, hopefully we will actually, progress somewhere with, obviously everyone knows the player on our lips is Moises Caicedo. Let's see next week. If something doesn't happen next week, then I'm not very positive for the rest of the month. But no, Mateus Nunes, he performed very well in those 20 minutes. And as for us, Grizz, yeah, we'll talk about it more tomorrow because there's serious issues. All right, nice one, guys. Love to you. Like and subscribe, guys, please. Thanks.
In a bit. Yeah, man. Look, at the end of the day, at the moment, it's talking about Liverpool is a hard call, man. But let's get some callers in, man. People, there's hella callers. Over 600 of you still in here. I rate you lot. Is it HMT next, guys? Have I said that right? Have I done it right? I put it in the chat, didn't I? No, Adams. Adams still there? No, Adams is not there. No, Adams is gone. Okay.
Who we getting on? HMT, yeah? HMT, I bring you in, bro. HMT, welcome to the stream, bro.
Thanks, Bilal. Hello, everybody. Do you hear me first?
Yeah, we can hear you well, man. We can hear you well.
It feels good to be here again. This is my second time with you guys. Thank you very much. I really developed some anger issues. It's like, for real, guys. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's like watching Liverpool these days is like a risk factor for mental issues, man. It's so bad. I just want to say something about the whole form that we have right now. So, I mean, you remember how we started the season. It's like the same. We have the same problem, right? It's like very slow in the middle and very prone to quick and direct counter attacks to the opposition. But we picked up, I don't know if you still remember, we picked up some form when we played Ajax away, and then Spurs, and then Southampton, and then Villa. We won all of these games. And we had some sort of play, style of play. Salah was coming to the middle and in the middle to the half space, and then pick up the ball and then attack the space in the middle. It was like a 4-4-2 diamond, and in a way that we invite the pressure a little bit and in one side, and then we switch the ball into the other side. But now it's like, that's the thing here. We didn't try, now we try to circulate the ball while trying to bend teams over, in their half. And I don't think that's a good idea. We need to do more of that one, the 4-4-2 diamond. I don't want to see that again. What I mean, I don't want to see our center backs in the center circle. Our forwards and fullbacks are chilling in the final third of the opposition, and in the final third of the pitch. It's crazy to start after the break, after the World Cup, the same way we started the season. It seems like we didn't really learn anything from the period that we started the season from. So it's crazy. I don't know.
HMT, sorry, thank you, welcome. I was coughing when you came on, so I couldn't welcome you.
No problem.
Welcome to the stream.
And I wish you a speedy recovery, Chris.
Yeah, I'll be fine, man. In fact, I'll be fine quicker than Liverpool. Trust me.
I can relate, bro. It's I'm getting angry. I'm really.
Yeah, I know what you mean, bro. I'm normally a very philosophical, positive, try to look forward. I'm dreading looking forward, bro. I'm dreading looking forward at the moment. It's really, really murky. It's murky out there. But some of the points he's made, guys, he's right. Our build-up is too slow. There's no penetration. It's just slow. The pace throughout the whole team is slow. Take out Nunes, even Salah doesn't look quick and sharp. The fullback today had him in his pocket today as well. Salah had a very poor game. I know he took it wonderfully out of the sky, bang, first time finish. But again, it was Nunes against the rest. I mean, people cussing Nunes are stupid and mad and wild because he's a one-man attack at the moment for Liverpool. It'd be interesting to hear actually what you thought of Nunes, Bilal. You're not a Liverpool fan. You're hearing the outside noises about Liverpool and you see about Nunes. What do you think about him so far?
So far in general, and the fact that I've got the pleasure to really watch him live as well and see what he's about in a game that he actually scored in against Arsenal, and I saw the movement, his running, his all that energy and just problems he was causing Gabriel and Saliba, who have been two solid centre backs this season, right? He's the one player in that Liverpool team who's causing problems time and time again, and it gets to that debate, of course, with Salah. And it's funny because, as I said earlier, we're talking about who's a better all-round player, like Mane or Salah, just comparing them peak for peak, right? But with Salah, he's not going to maybe give you all of that all-round play, but he'll give you that finishing. And I think HMT made a great point where Liverpool went on that little run where Salah came more inside now. Because at the beginning of the season, he was more on the touchline and what was going on? It's not his game. He's someone who needs to be in and around the box because of some of the little sharp touches that he does. He just needs literally one touch, bang. That's Salah. Right, a little bit of space and he's going to score. So if you can get him more in the box, that's going to give him more of a chance to score. Obviously, as simple as that sounds. But with Nunes now coming into the team, and then with Gakpo signing, right? Gakpo as well is adding to this, because Diaz is injured. Diaz, if he's there, can stretch the play. He can go out wide. He can take defenses on the left, get the attention as well on him, while maybe Salah has more space and Trent as well is going to get more space on the other side. But now with Gakpo, Nunes, and Salah, Liverpool are going to become a team where they're very focused on the centre, and the only person who can really break out of them three, is going to be Nunes, because Nunes has the movement, he has the energy to go all across the front, right? So I think now Liverpool in that situation where Trent is going to become so key in this team to going anywhere, because he's going to be the main chance, obviously, chief creator, as they like to say, right? Trent is obviously, that's his role anyway, but it's going to become even more important. But that midfield now, that three in the middle, they have to battle. They have to win their duels. They have to be strong one-on-one. They can't get overrun in the midfield, because if they get overrun, that front three now becomes it's redundant. You know what I mean? And the pressure on the fullbacks now with Trent and Robertson or Simic has to do something becomes too much, in my opinion. So tactically, it's interesting to see how Liverpool are going to play out. But yeah, right now it's a tricky one. But Nunes, he's the only one there that is moldable to actually move things and actually create something from nothing, if that makes sense.
I didn't take off HMT, was it? I think he's just lost reception. He's messaged me and saying, thanks for letting me on. No problem. Yeah. It was nice speaking to you, bro. I wouldn't suddenly take off anyone there unless someone was rude or abusive. I love this super chat. Bilal's getting to the people, them. This is it. Get Bilal off our thread. His smirk pisses me off. Bilal's smirk is legendary, man.
Listen, just here, man. It's just my face, man. I'm sorry. I can't change my face, bro. I'm sorry. You know what it is.
But yeah, look, I think there's a consensus of opinions, isn't there, Cav, from every caller so far. We kind of know where we are, where we're at. Some of us were hoping for the best. Some of us were believing that it's going to change. We've got to keep going. I guess we're not out of the FA Cup. We're not out of the top four race. We're still yet to play Real Madrid in a couple of months.
Who are not looking so good as well.
They didn't look too great today as well. Just got to keep going, innit? What do you want us to do, Cav?
I spoke to Bilal earlier about some things we can maybe do tactically, just not without making huge changes to formation and personnel and stuff, just some suggestions I put out there about what we can do in the game. But I think quite simply, the players need to take a bit of responsibility as well. And like the name was mentioned there, Salah, and I spoke about him a few times on this show, and I don't want it to seem like I'm piling on, but he picks up the ball and it seems like it's too easy just to give it Trent and let him cross the ball in and hope for a bit of magic. And what I did the other day was I watched Arsenal's last game and I watched Saka, and I was like, you know what? When you watch so much Liverpool, you kind of forget what the standard is or what everybody else is doing. And stuff. And I was like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch Arsenal, right? And they're playing beautiful football at the minute. And they're obviously the best team in the league, in my opinion. Play the best football and banging for. And I watched Saka and I was like, I want to see what Saka's doing. And I watched him pick up the ball first and foremost, he worked hard. He was up and down that touchline, helping defensively and getting the ball, driving forward, right? And when he got to the sort of edge of the 18-yard box, he was cutting in and looking for a 1-2 and link-up play, or he was trying to get across the 18-yard box, see if he could pick his head up and shoot. He was also getting to the byline and cutting it back. He was so dynamic and varied in what he was doing. And I was like, I haven't seen that from Salah in a long time. And then I thought to myself, is it, I know he gets the goals and assists, right? But when we play in the way we are at the minute, where the attack just looks dead, surely this guy's got to look at it himself and like, I'm going to be a bit selfless here. I might lose the ball, but I've got to be willing to run at somebody. I've got to be willing to, instead of just getting the ball and looking to pass it back to Trent or pass it in field, now just take it and just drive down the byline and try and get us, into areas that we've not spent in the game. Maybe just, run at somebody. And even if you run into them, create your own little bit of chaos. I know he might not like it because he wants to be this polished player now. And he probably wants, like, say he gets 10 touches in the game. He wants 10 touches to be brilliant and effective. But sometimes you might just have to say to yourself, I'm going to get on the ball more and I'm going to try and make things happen more. And it might be might only be successful half the time, but at least you're trying and showing you're doing something.
You've actually been reading my agenda. I'm suspecting you now, because this was on the RedFellas agenda for tomorrow. Because we're going to try to have a deep chat about the role and the position of Mohamed Salah as he's getting maturer, older, or however you want to say it. Because how many attackers that us three can mention or think of over the years that in their latter years changed their role?
Yeah.
We can't expect Mohamed Salah to be that Roma winger that we bought at 26, at 31, 32. We can't expect that, especially the mileage he's done in his legs, especially for club and country. So as you're saying, if he wants to be that polished player, and he can be, because we've seen his assist, ability to assist as well, then maybe Jurgen Klopp and the coaches need to sit him down and start thinking a different formation. But we'll go deep on that tomorrow, hopefully, because that'll be a good one to chat. Adams was in the studio, man. I had to call you on. Adam says, what's that scent? It smells so good. What's it called? It's called Liverpool Tears, Bilal. That smirk will soon be wiped off. 10 Heisenberg is cooking a little something when we come to your ends. My God, this is a freeway war. We got Arsenal fans there. We got Man United fan Adams. Big up this generous donation. We got Liverpool fans. Me and Cav just sitting out. Our tears, man. It's true. You're smelling our tears right now. But I like this. I like this little.
United fans got energy. Too much.
Energy.
But keep it for Man City. Come with that confidence to the Emirates, to the carpet, and you'll be brushed aside. That's what's going to happen. But honestly, that point about Salah, right? And I find it interesting that Liverpool signed Gakpo and didn't go all out for Kudus, right? And this is another thing that maybe is a little bit confused, because I was a little bit shocked that Liverpool really went in for Gakpo and actually signed him that quickly, because I thought Kudus would have been the guy to bring in, right? Let him play maybe on the right, and then
I cried for him. I begged for him. I wanted him. Gakpo, no way, before people start saying, oh, here we go, when he's played one half or whatever, 60 or whatever, how much he played, that I'm writing him off. No, I'm not writing him off. I'm not basing him on one half in an FA Cup game, first game, only 2 training sessions. I'm not basing my judgment on him. I'd like to think I've seen him enough, and I preferred Mohamed Kudus. That's what I'm saying. If he proves me wrong, and he turns out to be the dynamic difference maker, like a Diaz, like a Jota, whoever, even Nunez is dynamic difference maker. We're not quite seeing it in all aspects, but we're seeing it in a lot of aspects. If Gakpo shows me that as well, you know me, man. Football's a humbler, and I'll be first here groveling for your apologies. I didn't know your game.
Yeah, and for me, it's not about Gakpo not being a good player. It's not even about that. It was more because of Salah, and the Salah point that we're talking about, him playing. Okay, he's a right winger, but he's not doing what a right winger should do. All of his best qualities are now more central, right? So I was thinking maybe Salah should have gone down the middle, right? While Nunez is still maturing and his energy on that left until Diaz comes back. And then the Kudus comes in on the right, and now Liverpool maybe would have been in a better position. So I don't know what plan, because obviously Liverpool must have thought of that. They must have thought Kudus was on the list of players that they wanted to sign. So they've ended up going for Gakpo. That makes me think now, that maybe Klopp is thinking differently about how to utilize Salah, and will that work out with the rest of the front three, with the midfield problems that Liverpool are having right now? It's interesting to see, but we're only going to know, I think, in the next 6 weeks, the next 6 to 8 weeks, because the way the fixtures are coming, then we'll really have a clear answer again.
I just wanted to get your very quick response, because I know you're dying to respond to comments like this.
Ben White, Benny Blanco, don't worry. Listen, there's one clip, right? I think when Ben White was at Brighton and he got absolutely skinned by Rashford. And before he joined Arsenal, I was watching some interview, he said, yeah, that game I played against Rashford, he's done him, right? And then Rashford now is in this hot form. But I tell you what, man, Ben White's improved so much. So yeah, it'll be a good battle. He's locked up, I think, every winger that's come up on his side. And even the other day against Brighton, when Mitoma was obviously doing his madness, it only happened when Ben White went off. Tomiyasu came in, things started going. Tomiyasu is a great defender, but obviously sharpness and all of that probably played into it. But yeah, Ben White's been really good, and Rashford's in such great form right now. So let United deal with City first, and then talk to me after. We'll talk about that game after when it comes.
Adam says he admits, he goes, I'm a bit deluded, but Ten Hag got me excited for the first time in a while. Yeah, of course. We know. Adams, we know. It's no problem, man. No
Remember
problem.
Ollie? Remember Ollie?
Enjoy
Ollie's
yourselves.
at the wheel.
Yeah,
remember all of that?
Yeah.
PSG away. I remember. I was there.
I was there.
They were excited.
We've got another caller waiting to come in, and he's been quite opinionated in the chat. Let's see what he's got to say, because it'll be interesting. Travis, are you there, my friend?
Yeah, I'm here.
Let's go,
Welcome,
bro.
Travis.
Welcome to the stream first and foremost. Oh shit, he's getting ready for us.
Travis must have disagreed with 9 out of 10 of my points.
That's what I'm saying. Let it rip.
I'm open-minded, Travis. Convince me. Talk to me.
Well, I heard the point about Kudus, but firstly, I just think he wouldn't fit into our team. He's more of a cam centre forward type, so I don't know where you guys are planning to play him. But to play him on the right, I feel like he hasn't really played there in his career. So to play him on the right, well, what would be the use of that?
Can I come back on that one before? I know you got hella points and you've been waiting a long time, so you're going to get a chance to speak a lot. Can I just come back on that one before we go?
Yeah.
So I agree with you that he's not played much on the right, but I also agree with you that he can play cam. What do we lack right now? What do we lack in our midfield now? We lack energy, strength, and ball carrying. Would you tell me? Are you telling me Mohamed Kudus doesn't excel in strength, ball carrying at that tender age, and he can't be molded? If we're trying to mold Harvey Elliott, listen, I'm a Liverpool fan. Harvey Elliott is a wonderful kid. He's got talent. I ain't writing him off, right? But if we're saying we're trying to mold Harvey Elliott into a Jurgen Klopp 8, which is all about what? Energy, pace, power, strength. What Henderson had at his best 3-4 years ago. Gini had at his best 3-4 years ago. Fabinho had his best 3-4 years ago. Are you trying to tell me with the attributes and the raw attributes Mohamed Kudus has got, he wouldn't be more able to do that than trying to convert Curtis Jones, Harvey Elliott, even possibly some people are suggesting Fabio Carvalho. Mohamed Kudus would make that role his own, bro. Own.
But I think with Mohamed Kudus, if you're getting him because of his attacking ability. Like that's what he excels at, what he's bringing to in the attacking side. And when you look at Liverpool, I just think we are just stacked in that area. We don't lack goals. Goals is not something that we lack in the team. And if I'm looking at Kudus, yes, he does bring energy, but what he would bring in his specialty is goals. And I think we're better off buying a player that's more defensive minded than Kudus. You rather buy like a CM like Nunez, or do you get to say Kudus?
100%. No, 100% agree with that.
Yeah,
absolutely agree with that. 100%. If you gave me the choice of the two, Nunez. But what I'm saying is, you said what attributes would he bring? Because the decision was Gakpo, not decision, but the option we had in our head was Gakpo, or the debate was Gakpo or Kudus. And for me, Gakpo ain't that guy. For me, again,
really,
yeah. I hope I'm wrong. I hope I'm so wrong.
Have you watched his highlights? Like when you
that's the problem.
What do you see?
I'm talking too much, man. Let others speak. That's a good question. Very quickly, sorry, Bilal and Cav. I see a technically gifted striker of a ball. He's elite technically.
Very
Yeah?
exactly.
He left foot, right foot. His heading ain't as good as it should be for someone who's 6'4".
I agree.
He's not as strong as he should be. He's definitely not quick. But I think his off the ball movement is poor. I don't think he gets involved as much. But give him a chance. You look at his highlights package, you think to yourself, yo, woo, this guy is serious. Because left foot, right foot, curling, power, first time short backlift, he's got it all.
Crossing.
That's Travis. Who is he crossing to? Mohamed Nunes, okay. Who's he crossing to?
Nunes.
One man in the box when they got three, like most of the time he's playing against three beast centre backs. Come on, we're not about that life. We're not about crossing.
But when you got Diaz and you got Gakpo, isn't that the perfect different in types of players? You got Diaz and then you got Gakpo. One that will just dribble straight at players and one that you can bring off the bench and he can cross it into the box.
No problem. I agree with you. Yeah, but see, now you're wilting a little bit. Now I see you wilting a little bit because now you're talking about Gakpo coming off the bench, which I haven't got an issue with.
Well, in all likelihood, when Diaz is fit, who's going to start?
100% Diaz. 100%.
I wouldn't argue with that. I wouldn't argue with that.
That's why for overall the package, the price, I wasn't mad about it.
Yeah.
Either way.
37 mil.
Yeah. 100% I agree. Bilal, Cav, why are you making me talk so much, man? I'm not well. Sorry, I can't help myself. Sorry.
Travis, did you hear my point earlier on Gakpo? When I spoke about, I think he could be a good player, but he needs the team to be playing well around him to create space for him.
100%. And that's something I think as well Darwin Núñez has suffered from as well. Like everyone talks about Darwin Núñez. I heard the commentator saying in this game that he's had more goals than Mane and Suarez did at the same amount of games that they had at this stage in Liverpool. And that shows you that he's doing justice. He's doing just as good as those two. And they're Liverpool legends. And I feel like certain players in this team, they're getting criticism when we know that if the team was playing at their pomp like they were 2 years ago or something like that, these players would be phenomenal. I can't imagine what Darwin Núñez would be like if Trent was at his best. Trent's had like 2 assists since February. Imagine if Trent was crossing the ball as well as he was like a year ago or something like that, as well as he was attacking a year ago. We'd be much better than we are right now. I think to blame the attackers at all this season is just a lazy point. Even Salah, like as much as he's been not as great as he usually is, to blame him is just ridiculous. There's other players in the team that have been massively underperforming, like in the midfield, like you guys have been saying with Fabinho, Henderson. As well, I remember last week you guys were talking about Naby Keita, and I just completely disagree with your point about saying that he's not that you guys just don't believe in him anymore. You've given up on him. For me, Naby Keita, when he is fully fit, he is one of our best midfielders, without a doubt. If you saw him when he came on as well today,
let him land. Yeah, let him land.
He was pretty good. And I think you guys realize, like, I admit he doesn't have the defensive discipline in terms of positioning that you would like, but in terms of his tenacity, when he's fully fit, he's really good. And yeah, he hasn't brought what the price tag should have brought with the whole package. But I feel like him as a bench option is probably one of the best bench options that you can have. I like you. I like Naby Keita.
No, I like you because you're smart. You came with a rebuttal. You said you didn't agree with anything me and Cav said about Naby Keita last week. By the end of your statement, you said, I don't think he's a bad option for us.
Yeah. Well, you don't have to tell him.
But who said anything about him being not a substitute option? I said we cannot afford to rely on someone we bought to be a game changer 5 years later. I'm sure Cav's going to make similar points to me. If he doesn't, I'll come back. And I don't even know if Bilal... You know, it's always good because, you know, Liverpool fans, we see something from our point of view, right? Like a Liverpool point of view. I want Cav to come in and then I want Bilal to give us an outsider's opinion because it's always good to have an outsider's opinion on certain players to see what they think.
Quickly, before they say what they're going to say, can I just say, did Naby Keita not did we not rely on him last season when we were about to do a quadruple? He was one of the main reasons why we were able to push forward. I just want you to remember that before you say Naby Keita, because he really helped us towards the end of last season to push for nearly 4 trophies.
I'm gonna sit back for a few minutes until
That's
my blood starts boiling. When my blood starts boiling, I'm gonna come back in.
Do you know how I'm going to answer this? I'm going to avoid talking about availability, right? And I'm going to talk to you about what he's done since he's been back and he's come on as a substitute, okay? He's come on and he's not looked too bad. And I'll tell you why he's not looked too bad. Because Liverpool are crying out for a man in midfield that can press half well. Okay, I'm not going to say well, half well, has energy and actually wants to commit an opposition midfielder or defender. He is willing, although sometimes it's a bit hit and miss. He's willing to run at somebody. He's willing to go round somebody. He's looking. He runs at the center of the park. All our attacks are down the wings. He's the only man that runs down the center of the park and will want to do a little link up with the forward and do a 1-2 and try to do something centrally. And I think what we're doing here is we're looking at Naby and we're going, great, he's fit. First box ticked. And then we're seeing someone who's shown a little bit of dynamism and we're going, oh, he's really good. And now we're considering keeping him. And is he this important? No. What we're doing is our standards have dropped so much, right, that we're now think anyone that shows a little bit of creativity, a little bit of dynamism, we're like, yeah, this is brilliant. It shouldn't be the level. Naby shouldn't be the level. The performances he's put in since he's been back, credit to him, he got himself fit, but that's not the level. I need that in a player that's available all the time, and then we're talking. So I think credit to him, but it's not enough for me.
Bilal?
Yeah, I honestly think, Cav, you just hit the nail on the head with Naby Keita. What it is with Naby Keita, we all have the idea of him at Leipzig, especially the football that he was playing, some of the highlight reels that we were seeing, the goals as well, the dribbling, the ball retention. As a footballer, when you think of a midfielder, right, you like, oh, Naby Keita, he's got all of these sort of attributes that you really like. But I think, of course, and I will talk about the injuries. I think, of course, with the injuries have hampered him quite a bit as well, and it's taken a lot from his game. He just is not what Liverpool need. Liverpool need people who can really compete in that middle of the park. When we talk about Pep Lijnders, was it Pep Lijnders said intensity is our identity? Not only is intensity the identity of Liverpool, it's the identity of the Premier League, right? And for me, with Naby Keita, I just don't have much hope in him, really being that main first choice pick in the midfield. The thing with Keita, I think Cavs just summed it up as well. When you compare him to the Hendersons of the world in terms of ability on the ball and the things that he can do in terms of his ball manipulation, his control of the game and setting the tempo, sometimes you're like, oh, Keita, you're giving me something. But at the end of the day, it's not enough. It's not enough, especially with the way Liverpool are trying to be set up with these like proper, I will call them strikers, the Salahs, the Nunes, the Gakpos. You need fighters in that middle of the park. You can, of course, right, play good football. Obviously, you play for Liverpool, you're going to have to be a serious midfielder in all aspects of the game. But all round, Naby Keita is just not enough. He's just not enough for Liverpool. And if Liverpool are going to start relying on Naby Keita as
that's where you've nailed it right at the end. Travis, I don't know do you follow me on Twitter? By any chance?
Of course.
Okay, I don't know how long you've been following me, but when Naby Keita was linked with Liverpool, I was blessed to have some intel on it, and I was the first one that found out that we're in for Naby Keita, and I tweeted the bids, and all the journalists were saying, "Nah, no bids for Naby Keita, we're not interested." I said, "We've made bids for Naby Keita, we want him," and I was hella excited. I was so excited about Naby Keita coming to Liverpool. Because as soon as I found out that we're interested in Naby Keita, what do? We start getting the YouTubes out, don't we? We start watching Leipzig game. We start watching highlights. We start watching the Bundesliga. And I see this guy. And I'm thinking, oi, this is Kante. But more skillful. More skillful. Kante. So he's got the strength, the ball carrying, the tenacity. But he's got a little shoulder drop. He's got a touch. He's one of those players that when you're playing 7-a-side, you want to pick Naby Keita on your side just to relax the ball. When you're playing big fuck-off players, team, you've got Naby Keita just doing his look. I was the most gassed for Naby Keita ever, trust me. So I'm not a Naby Keita hater. I'm a lover of Naby Keita. People done mad memes of me and Naby Keita, like when he signed, because I was like pure on that propaganda, Naby Keita propaganda. People done memes of me and him like married and that, this and that. You know, people put me in mad pictures and shit, yeah? So I'm a mad fan of him and was a fan of him. And I still back him every time he puts a Liverpool shirt on. But that was 5 years ago. If we're still fast forwarding 5 years and we're still unsure, for me, that's sure. If we're still unsure after 5 years, is he the man for us? Then for me, that's a sure. He's not. You can't still be undecided, whether it's injuries, whether it's form, whether it's availability, whether it's attitude, whether it's contract, whatever the case may be. And I understand it's a combination of everything. I'm not going to allow myself to rely on Naby Keita moving forward. And I think Liverpool have made that decision as well. And Naby Keita's made that decision. It's for best for all parties. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm going to end it with something weird. I still think he should be in the team ahead of others right now.
Right.
That's the weird part. Do you get my point? Like, I think, yeah, I think he's definitely probably better informed than Hendo or Elliott. He should be ahead of them right now. But we can't be planning ahead with him with that in mind. So it just shows you the state of the rest of the players in midfield, if I'm thinking like that. You get me? So I'm more cussing the others than cussing Naby, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Grizz, can I add to a point, right? And we might not be able to do this, the situation we're in, but if we can all accept Naby is going to leave in the summer, okay, is it worth putting him in, even just to see how this team functions having that style of player? Because let's say if you only get like 5, you start him in the next 5 games or whatever, there's a sample size there to see if you have that type of player with their attributes, right? Whether this system that Klopp wants to go with still works. Because if it does, and there's good evidence there, then surely that's more, confirmation that you do need to match someone who's the same stylistically. In my opinion, that Casado is very, very similar. Whereas at the minute we're trying it with like an Elliott, and a Henderson and Thiago, and they're all so different stylistically, right? Why not just chuck Naby in there and go, you're not the guy for next season, but you're very close to the guy I'm thinking of getting. Let's see if this system works with you in it. Do you see see the point I'm trying to make?
Don't you think Keita, Thiago, and Fabinho, when they're all fully fit, would do a job? Like when Thiago was coming into Liverpool, the idea was him and Keita would be unstoppable as roaming eights. Do you understand? Like that was the whole point. I feel like them three fully fit, there's no issue in that.
We've got a couple of super chats. Alberto says Naby is 37. That's the problem. Don't tell me he's 27. You know what I mean? Let's not start these rumors, man. But you know what I mean? There's something.
Can I bring up one
Fabinho is he's fighting those allegations right now as well. It's not just Keita.
Can I bring up one more thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Cav, I heard you say earlier that you think Klopp. I don't know if you're exaggerating, but
I knew you was gonna pull this. Go on.
Yeah, you think Klopp's been horrible this season. You can understand. I'm a young guy, so I grew up watching Daniel Agger, Skirtle, John Flanagan, all of these guys in our team, and to see a manager like Klopp come in and what he's done for us, etc., my loyalty is completely with him. And this season, I feel like what you're seeing is the sum of basically the board, like how they've helped him and they've gave him a new contract, but they haven't given him now the tools to work with that. Like we didn't sign a midfielder in the summer. How can you go for Tuishemeni and then for all that money we're willing to put for a CDM and then not buy another midfielder in that same summer? That's just a clear lack of complacency. Like that just shows you that we knew we needed a midfielder and we didn't get that. And Klopp is always going to come and defend the team and be like, we don't need midfielders and all of that because he's the leader of the squad. He has to say that we are strong enough. He can't admit that we are weak, that we don't have enough players. That's not going to help Harvey Elliott. That's not going to help Fabio Carvalho. Do you get? So he has to say that we're strong enough. But if you look at the squad, you can just clearly see if we had 1 or 2 midfielders right now, we'd be challenging for the title. I genuinely believe that. I genuinely believe you have 2 midfielders in there, we'd be challenging for the title. I'm never worried about the defence. I'm never worried about the attack. I'm always just worried about the midfield. What are they going to do on that given day? So to blame Klopp, like, just think about it being in Klopp's position. You've spent all of the World Cup thinking, what can I do to fix Liverpool? I'm going to come back. I'm going to take them to Dubai. I'm going to train them. I'm going to work them so hard, right? There's only so much you can do. There's only so much you can tell these players to do. And then you're seeing them. And you're seeing them. And I'm seeing Adama. I know Adama's fast, but I'm seeing Adama run past Henderson, Fabinho, like all of them, as if like they can't even run. They're jogging. And it's like, I feel sorry for Klopp. Like, when you see him smiling on the touchline, that's why. He's smiling because he knows, like, what am I supposed to do?
Can I interrupt just to
Yeah.
just interrupt? Just I don't want to be rude or anything, but just because of this Klopp point, and you see the investment Liverpool have put in, and this is from me as an outsider, I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me more, right? The investment Liverpool put in defense, in terms of centre backs, in terms of attackers now, is way more, right, than in the midfield. And not only that, we know since the summer that all the Liverpool journalists have been saying that Jurgen Klopp has taken more control of the club, more control in terms of what he wants, you know. And in this January window, if you're going to make that first signing, Gakpo came in, they spent money, right? Instead of going for a midfielder first, where everyone was saying, I know the injuries came up with Diaz and Jota, so maybe that changed his plans, right? But they still could have went for a midfielder first to just show that was a main priority. Then go for a attacker, because still with Salah, with Nunes, Ox was doing a job on the left. It could have survived for a little while. The midfield, it might not be, FSG are not giving him money. It might be that Klopp's thinking, I've got Henderson. That's my guy. I've got Fabinho. I've got Thiago. You look at the names, and he's thinking these are top midfielders. So he's thinking, I don't need to invest there. Let me go and get Gakpo first, and then the midfield will sort out itself. That's the way I feel like maybe what's actually happening. It's not a lack of, the club don't want to give him a midfielder. Maybe he's not seeing. I know Tchouaméni was the guy who's meant to come in the summer. That didn't work out, and after that, he's like, nah, I don't fancy anyone else unless X name comes up, maybe a Caicedo or something that he really wants. You know, is he being too picky? Is that another thing?
No, but
because I feel like he has a lot of power now in the club, just like a Wenger or a Ferguson did. He's the only manager post those two who have that kind of power. Yeah.
Would you agree that if Tchouaméni comes into this team, he would start?
Oh, without a shadow.
So if Tchouaméni would start, and you were gonna sign Tchouaméni, and he's a CDM, does it not make absolute no sense to not sign another CDM? Yeah. You were gonna go sign a CDM, and he was gonna be one of the best in the world. So to think that you had to sign one of the best in the world in his position, and you didn't go do that, you can see why he's suffering. If we had Tchouaméni right now, I don't think we're in the trouble. I don't think we're in any trouble. But the fact
that was going to be my question, Travis.
Yeah,
that was going to be my question to you. Okay, you drop Tchouaméni into this team. Where are Liverpool in the league?
We're second. We're second or third.
I tell you why I disagree. Because if you watch Jurgen Klopp's last press conference, okay, he jumped down the reporter's throat when the reporter basically asked him a leading question so he could go on to talking about signing a midfielder. And the reason being, is because Jurgen Klopp said, and I think he acknowledges he needs a midfielder, but what he needs to do first and foremost is he needs to get the team playing better and be more compact. There's so much work that he needs to do with every area of this team at the moment on the training ground, stylistically and tactically, that's quite simply getting a world-class midfielder and dropping them in there is not going to fix our problems.
Do you genuinely believe that? Do you genuinely?
I genuinely believe if you get a Caicedo and put him in there instead of, say, it's Henderson today, I still think he gets exposed because quite simply there's too much space around the midfield.
But how did we get to a Champions League final and to an FA Cup final and all of these finals?
I'll tell you how. Because the space wasn't there between the defense and the midfield and the attackers, because the attackers were elite pressers of the ball, and the midfielders were so disciplined and well positioned and read the game so well and had experience playing with the guys around them that they filled the passing lanes when the forwards pressed. What you're seeing at the minute is a half-assed press on the ball. Okay, you're seeing ill-disciplined midfielders running beyond forwards to press by themselves, leaving holes in and around the pitch. You're seeing a high line being executed somewhat of the time, but on other occasions dropping too deep to expose space in front of them as well. There's so much wrong with the whole system, which is based around a press and pressure on the ball.
It's the same players, though.
This is the problem.
It is. But that's where I look at Klopp, and I'm saying you've got largely the same players. It shouldn't be that bad.
But the midfield, we all know, you've admitted yourself. I've heard all of you guys on this channel say that the midfield is the issue. So if you're saying that the midfield is the issue, but you're also saying it's Klopp, I would argue to you, do you not think that Klopp knows that the midfield is the issue and he's telling the midfield what to do, but they're just simply not doing what they're supposed to be doing? Because they're
Can I give my opinion?
Yeah.
Can I give my opinion? I've never said it's not the midfield.
Exactly, you have. You said it's the midfield.
Right. So don't say we. Say Cav, beat up Cav, smash up Cav for his opinion.
All right, Cav, saying that is Klopp.
You know what I mean? Bully Cav. But so me, I agree with you, it is the midfield. And one of the reasons why one of the things that I picked up when you said was, but it's the same midfield. Guess what? It's the same midfield for 5-6 years. That's the problem.
Exactly. Why?
So I believe, and it's just my personal belief. There's so many comments. There's over 700. There's close to 700 people in here. Some are agreeing with you. Some are agreeing with Bilal. Some are agreeing with me. So difference of opinion is fine. We all have our opinions. I genuinely don't think, and I've said it before, and I'll say it again, not especially today, because I don't need reinforcing. None of those three midfielders can run to the levels and the energy and the intensity that we could before. And that breaks this whole system of Klopp down.
Thiago can.
I don't believe he can. I don't believe he can.
Thiago's good enough.
No, he's good enough. That's different. There's a difference what we're saying here, bro. He's good enough. I'm talking about pure running power. So on a football pitch, you have to be able to run. Our running stats, and I'm not a stats guy, but if you go on websites that check out our stats, we're down in every stat, running stat. Every stat. We've never been outrun as much as we have this season. That's black and white, bro.
You're right.
That's black and white. If you and not even outrun by 0.5 kilometers, because team was up for it. Random game here and there. Near enough every single game we've been outrun. It's never happened under Klopp. Never ever happened from his first game away to Spurs.
So whose fault is that?
It's a combination.
It's not Klopp's fault.
I think you know at this point as well.
How can it be not Klopp's fault?
He's one of the greatest managers we've ever had in all time. I'm not going to blame him when I've seen what he's won with the players we've had. I'm not going to blame him.
You can't do that though. You can't. But then you're saying he's immortal. He's not.
He is practically. I'd give him a 7-year contract. I'd give him a 10-year contract.
He's not. He's not.
He is immortal, guys. Come on.
He's not. Listen. You've been brilliant, and I know you kept waiting, and that's why I gave you a lot of airtime. We got so many people to get through. I'm coming up to 2 hours. Travis, next Saturday, call in, both free. Every Saturday, you already know the drill. You know what I mean?
100%.
Nice one. Look after yourself. It's been a pleasure speaking.
Cheers, Travis.
All right.
Big up, bro. Big up. Good chat.
Yeah, but it's good chat, innit? It's true though. It's like
it's interesting because even some points he made about like he thought Thiago and Keita being Roman eights and all of this sort of stuff. Even when you guys signed Thiago, right? I was thinking Thiago goes to any team with his age, maybe playing in a deeper position, like a 6, like a Regista type player. That would have been better for him to still see him playing in a position where you guys used to have Gini Wijnaldum there, one of the most intense midfielders that you could find, right? And then now you've got Thiago in there. It's like night and day. And that at the end of the day, for me, and this is me as an outsider, I think a lot of it is down to Klopp. I think a lot of it, and I'm not saying Klopp out, you know me, I wouldn't say that because it's the same boat as me as Wenger. I was never Wenger out till like 2017 or something, towards the end, right? So it's one of those ones with Klopp. I think Liverpool as well, spending, I don't know, Nunes and Gakpo money put together, right, on 2 attackers, and then still neglecting that hole left by Wijnaldum, who left in a free transfer as well. It's all of these little things that just add up and add up and add up. And it gets to that point now where it's not one problem to fix where it could have been in the past. It's like 2, 3, 4, 5 problems. And that's, ends up causing more problems.
Just a couple of super chats before, unless Cab wants to come back, and then we got American Cop again, who was arguing in the chat. So this will be interesting, what he has to say. Albert, who didn't like your smile, says Gakpo was signed by the real boss of LFC, Linders. Oh, here we go, Albert. He wants to sign Coop Myers too. LFC will be turned into a mix of Jorge Mendes players and Orange. We won't.
The real boss.
We won't, bro. Amir says, just joined. Welcome, bro. Need to vent. Already done, bro. Feel free. Right now, I do not see top 4. Yeah, it's looking peak. I'm not going to lie. Bilal, do you see top 4 for Liverpool? Yes, no. Don't give me a long answer.
A few months ago, I had yes, but the way Newcastle and United are looking, and now Weghorst, right now it's a no. Definitely.
Okay, but we know you flip-flop every week. So
how have you just managed to just put Weghorst in there?
I know.
No. I've just said, like, they're adding still a profile to the team that they don't have. The football that they're playing, they're looking decent. The thing is, the United, right, they're going to have a lot of games coming up thinking fast. Europa, if they beat Barcelona in the Europa League, right, you expect them to go deep in that competition. That could cause more issues for them. And Liverpool, Real Madrid, we'll see how that game goes, because obviously I've been watching Real Madrid as well. I don't know how that game's going to go, but we'll see. That game, whoever goes through.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that right now, man. What are you doing to me, man?
You're
making me sick.
To that when it comes.
I'm already sick. You're making me, allow that one. That's hurting me already thinking about it. We'll be knocked out of FA and Champions League. Top 6 is probably what we fight for. Sad face, but you'll never walk alone. No, man, come on. We down, but we ain't out. But we down. I'm backing you. We're down, bro. We're down. But keep hope alive. Martin Luther King. Keep hope alive. Was it Martin Luther King or someone else? I don't know. One of them.
I feel like, no idea.
One of them activists said, keep hope alive. Can someone let me know in the chat? Because, I don't like getting these things wrong. Keep hope alive. I'm sure he's a famous leader or activist. KD says, I don't think Klopp thought the team midfield would drop us so fast after the quad. Yep. So maybe he thought it was just a small big fix after the World Cup. I think, KD, you're absolutely spot on. I think genuinely he got it wrong. And that's what it is. He's got his judgment wrong. He thought we can go again until Christmas and then go again because the gap in the World Cup. Same players, short period before the World Cup. Then we can rest and go again until the end, and we can go for all our big boys. I think it was a mistake. I said it at the time, and I think it's been proven to be wrong. So we can say Jurgen Klopp's been wrong. I'm always a guy that looks for the evidence and then speaks on it. Proof, speak on it. Because predictions can go wrong. People that are claiming they said this. You've been waiting 5 years to shit on your own team, you pricks. You've been waiting every year. You've been crying about your team, and now you're saying, yeah, we were right. You've been saying the same shit for 5 years. Don't bring your energy now. KD says, I think Klopp thought we'd be fine this season until Jude. Naive, but didn't see the severe drop mentioned in my previous point. Yeah, you're spot on, bro. You're absolutely spot on. I agree with that 100%.
Also, exactly one question, just a quick one. How long's Van Dijk injured for? Do you guys know?
Looking 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, hamstring. Yeah, okay. So that's another issue now. Like the centre back position, where it looked like really solid position.
Yeah. It didn't look
now
good today at all.
It's looking great.
Boy, shit! I didn't mean to put that up, man. Allow the personal digs. I didn't mean to put that up. You lot, stop having little fights in the chat, man. It's all good. Shall we let the next caller in?
Of course.
American Cop, man. He's been saying some stuff in the background. Let's see what he's got to say. American Cop, what you saying, bro?
Yo, I'm just shocked. Like, you guys don't think Gakpo is the answer, and you guys would rather get Kudus instead.
You here for the propaganda for Gakpo? Go.
I really feel like he's got it. Low finish, like what we need. Powerful, finesse. Maybe the variety in his finishing. I haven't really seen him do dinks, like all the fancy stuff that you need to do sometimes if it's necessary. But yeah, I feel like the crossing, the heading will come. 100%. Let him develop. I know it's early on. The heading, I'm pretty sure it will get there. He's got Van Dijk. He's got a guy next to him that will be able to help him settle into Liverpool. And I really just think this guy is something special. I really do believe it. I'm just shocked that you guys don't think he's a guy. That's just really what hit me.
Bilal, he's shocked. Cav, he's shocked that we don't think he's that guy. Okay, now you go. One of you go first.
Well, you know what with Gakpo, right? Because I even watched him. Obviously, PSV played against Arsenal. You know, I think twice. Obviously in the Europa League. So I got to watch Gakpo before he even came to the Prem a bit more. So we saw him in the World Cup, and even the World Cup, right? He was playing in a 2 up front. Van Gaal himself doesn't really trust him to play, obviously, as a 1, and he wasn't really using wingers as well. So he had to put Depay with him a lot of the time. And Depay himself, I think he said like he doesn't really like playing with Gakpo because he doesn't obviously offer that link up and all of that sort of stuff. Gakpo wants to get the ball, cut inside, and then shoot. But the thing with me, with Gakpo, right, I don't think he's got the ability to create proper separation like a proper left winger should, like a Diaz, right? And he's never going to be that type. He's 6'4". He is quick, but he's not quick enough to do it like a Diaz, like a Martinelli, like even a Heung-min Son type player, right? And that's the issue for me. I think his positions that he plays in on the pitch is maybe not the best suited for him, but at the same time, you play him up front, the all-round game, he doesn't have it as well, right? But the ball striking definitely is one thing he's definitely elite at. But I just think there's a lot of things missing out of his game, and which is why PSV ended up selling him for 37, 45 million. If he had more to his game, they could end up charging 60, 65, 70 million. But there's a lot missing. But that's why he will be a good squad player. When Diaz comes back, when Jota comes back, he'll help Liverpool, yes.
That's exactly it. I was going to say before Cav comes in, Cav, you go next. Just very quickly, American Cup. When everyone's back, Nunes, Diaz, Jota, Bobby, Salah, and Gakpo. Who's your front 3?
Jota, Salah, and Diaz.
Who's your backups? So let's
Nunes.
say... Sorry, what a stupid question by me. What am I talking about? Your backups are the ones that you didn't mention, innit? my point being, where does Gakpo fit into that hierarchy?
I think he plays up top, striker. Maybe. I think he could develop there.
Right. So we're talking maybe, and now we're talking maybe develop. I agree with you, develop. But I'm saying maybe. I'm not ready for maybe right now. We're at a different level now, Liverpool. We don't need maybes. We need nothing. Every transfer is a maybe. I get that. But Gakpo is young. He's had one big season. I get it. Because the season before, he didn't light up the stage. He had one big season, and I get it. Nunes was the same. Diaz was the same. Jota was the same. We're looking at players to take that next level leap. I just don't see in him having the attributes that we need. Now, if you're telling me he can be developed into a new Bobby, because I see his touch, he's Dutch, he's got that elegance about him, he can develop into a false 9 maybe and develop into a new Bobby, then yeah, I see it and I feel it. If you're telling me he's your wide left, Mane, Diaz, Jota type, he ain't that. Cav?
I genuinely, I just agree with you, Grizz, because I think that's been my opinion. I mentioned it earlier, but I think Gakpo, I think he can be a very useful player for us, even if he's not a first team player. You know, he maybe comes off the bench, bit of a rotational player. I think he's got I genuinely do think he's got qualities that can be, you know, elite level. But whether he's got enough of that about his game, I'm not too sure. But I think he'd probably have done well in like an Arsenal side. I must admit, if you put him alongside Odegaard and then Saka and then Jesus, guys that are pretty fluid in their link up and try play on the ground, you know, and Odegaard sort of got his head up and slide rule passes and things like this. I think he'd excel in that kind of style and team. Whereas with Liverpool, we're often quite so direct and we require such good movement and pace that I don't think he's quite got. And that's where I agree with Grizz. On the left wing, it's like we're so used to seeing guys like Diaz and Mane, and even like Nunes hasn't really played out there, but when he did, he kind of had similar attributes whereby when we win the ball back, that we'd pick our heads up and that player's got to be on the move. He's got to be running across the box. He's got to be, you know, trying to get into central positions to immediately score. And then obviously we've got the likes of Trent and stuff to pick them out. If it's a slower build-up play, then we need that player to be more dynamic and maybe go to the byline on one occasion or run at someone direct or maybe cut across and shoot, which obviously he can do. But I don't see him having enough to change the game solely by himself. And that's why I say I think he'd do better in a team that's playing well and is a bit more fluid, which is why I think he's good for the long-term future as an option. But for right now, I feel like we need somebody that's willing to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and just make something happen. And I don't really know if he's that guy, but I'm going off a small sample size, I must admit. I'm going off his traits and his abilities and what I see in him, as opposed to evidence as obviously what we've seen on the pitch.
Yeah, before America Cup jump in, that's what I wonder why. And I want to know. Obviously, a club will not release exactly why they signed a player, what kind of plans they have for him, right? But we know with Tchouaméni, for example, that was a main target of Liverpool last summer, and it was Tchouaméni or nothing. And it was that kind of approach that if he's not going to really improve our first 11, we're not going to sign him. And that's what I wonder with this Gakpo signing. I know a few injuries have come with Diaz and Jota, but it doesn't feel like it makes 100% sense. Maybe because of the pricing, it felt like an opportunity. Just do it, in the future, it could help us. But I just don't feel like he was the player Liverpool needed in January, because January is a window where you've got to maximize. It's only a few weeks where you've got to bring someone, boom, who can come into your team and really do something. Not someone who's going to come for a few months. I've seen Arsenal sign Dennis Suarez on loan. I'm like, what's the point of even? There's no point to it. He doesn't do anything. Obviously, Arthur Melo, Liverpool, that kind of. It just doesn't make sense. But Gakpo obviously is not on that level. He will be someone who will help Liverpool in the future. But right now, for this January, I just don't understand this signing. But listen, we want to be proven wrong, and hopefully, we are, because I'd like to see him do well at the very least.
Go on, bro.
Personally, I do feel like we got players that can grab the scruff of the game by the scruff of the net. I don't feel like Gakpo needs to be able to be doing that. I feel like our team, the midfield, has been shocking. So it's going to make our attack, no matter how good our attack is, how bad our attack is, it's going to make our midfield look terrible. I mean, no matter how good our attack and defense is, it's going to make it look terrible if the midfield can't be there to link it all up. But yeah, we got Salah. I feel like Thiago can play a great pass sometimes. I feel like we got players in the team that will be able to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. I don't really feel it's necessary. Gakpo doesn't need to do that right now. I feel like he has a little bit more time to bed in and get more comfortable. So yeah, that's what I think on Gakpo.
Before I let you go, I want you to have another say, because you made some good points, and I love the way you spoke. I respect you. I wanna know, when was the last time we took a game by the scruff of the neck with those players that you've all mentioned?
Long time. It's been a long time.
So how do we get out of this then? If Gakpo's not the answer, and we're saying Gakpo needs time, and then you mentioned that we're able to get grip of the game. I haven't seen us take a grip of the game since the Man City game. I'm not gonna lie. Even the Spurs one was to and fro. Maybe at times we've got a grip of the game, but the Man City game is the only one that we got a grip of. I mean, I'm not counting Bournemouth. It's worrying.
Yeah, it is, Grizz, and like it's difficult to assess at the minute, because if years gone by, it was Mane, or like Bobby would drop deep and get the ball, and then he'd pick his head up and do some nice link-up play. And by him dropping deep, you see like Mane and Salah sort of making them runs more. They become more centrally, naturally, to fill that void. And then you've got the wingers overflowing, and the whole system kind of worked beautifully. You haven't got that facilitator in Bobby at the minute because of the injury, and beyond the season, who knows if he'll even be here. So now you've got a striker that's more of a traditional striker, if you like, but a guy that's on the shoulder. So it changes your whole dynamic as to how you attack as well. You've got Salah, who's doing less and less in the game and dropping deep and trying to create and take people on. He's more playing, waiting for moments to happen. And that's why I talk about that left-sided player being so important. I need him to be a guy that is a facilitator and is a creator. I can't have that guy being someone that's waiting for the opportunities, because before you know it, all three of your forwards are guys that are just waiting for assists. They're waiting for things to happen to them. And unless it's coming from the fullbacks, it's not going to happen. And that's where I think one guy needs to be that facilitator, that guy that just beds it together. And I'm not too sure if Gakpo is going to be that guy. When I say I'm not too sure, I'm not saying he's rubbish. I'm just saying I genuinely don't know if he is. That's it. I've just got to watch the games and find out more about him.
American Cup, it's nice chatting to you, bro. Thanks very much.
Nice chatting to you, bro. Big fan, bro. Been watching for a very long time, so it was a great opportunity.
You're a legend. You're a legend still. Take care of yourself.
Thanks, bro.
Take care.
Yeah, big up, man. Great points.
Yeah, look, this Gakpo, it's foolish to write him off.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because it makes zero sense to write him off. Only an idiot would write him off on the basis of 1 year.
I don't think none of us are saying he's a bad player. We're saying he's a good player. It's just like for what Liverpool need right now and for the options that Liverpool seem to be missing in other areas, right?
Yeah.
And we won't know until the end of January whether Liverpool get that midfielder in. And with the Diaz and the Jotas, who will come back, we know they're going to come back. Did it make 100% sense to sign a player at this moment in time when Liverpool in this sort of situation? But listen, you have to trust these guys. They know more than us. You know, we have to admit that. Like, as much as we come on here and we talk, the guys who work at football clubs, especially top clubs, man, they should be, obviously they do know more than us. They're in this game every single day, and they must have seen something with Gakpo that maybe we haven't seen, and then a plan for him at the very least that we don't know about.
Do you know what my fear is? Sorry, Grizz, just before you. My fear is, and look, I, by no means of being reactionary and blowing this out of proportion, right? But just my idea of the player. Today's game we've described as being a bit safe. Didn't really do much, you know, just was neat, tidy, composed, looked confident on the ball, but never really took anyone on. Never really looked like scoring or assisting, but was good, you know, looked confident in his ability, passed it, and you know, we didn't really create loads for him, right? I just fear that we're going to end up saying that so often. I fear that when he plays that we're going to be, yeah, he's good, he's neat and tidy, and oh yeah, he got that one shot off and stuff, but we never speak about that with Diaz, because at some point in the game he will make something happen, and that's my fear, is that we've maybe signed somebody that might go missing a little bit. I don't know, but that's where I have my reservations. That's where it's coming from. Whereas Diaz, he come in the January much the same, but he lit it up straight away. I don't think he fitted into the team, I'll be honest. I think the players around him didn't quite know what to do because he was so like wild, and he'd cut in sometimes, you know, mazy runs, sometimes deep, sometimes shoulder, sometimes byline, sometimes. But he made things happen, and you'd never walk away from a game, or rarely would you say Diaz didn't impact it. Much like how we kind of talk about Núñez at the minute. Whereas I do fear that we'll just kind of forget Gakpo's played. I really hope I'm proved wrong, but that is my fear.
We absolutely do. And before I came to the super chat, look, Mix in the chat saying this is crazy. She's at true saying training sessions. We literally just said we're not writing him off. We're giving our opinion on a player that I've seen for a long time, like in the Eredivisie. I've seen him play for Holland. You know, I'm not basing him on 45 or 70 minutes of Liverpool versus Wolves in his first game after true training sessions. I made that very clear. I'm not basing him on that. I'm basing him off what I've seen of him as a player and the impact and the role he could have in a Liverpool team, especially a Klopp team, and the formation that we play. Now, if we change that formation, like Cav's been saying and Bilal's been saying, we play like a 4-2-3-1, or he plays in the 10 or something, I can see something developing there. But if we think we're getting an output merchant in a 4-3-3, I'm not seeing it right now. But I'm here to be humbled, because football's a humbler. That's what we're about. Yo, what's good? Sends in another super chat. He says, genuine question. What did Klopp work on during the World Cup break? I haven't learned anything new tactically from him. Ride or die, 4-3-3, same tactics. Struggled against Wolves, who made 9 first-team changes. I don't know what to say, bro. I don't know what to say to that. I agree with you. We were more flexible before the World Cup, right, Cav? Just before the break, we were a bit more flexible, weren't we? Trying things, different formations. We've gone back to 4-3-3 and putting not even square pegs in round holes now, just old pegs. Like they're worn. They don't fit. Those pegs are worn, and we're trying to fit them in, and they're not fitting, bro. That's how I see it.
He did, in fairness to him, like he switched it up, didn't he? The formation a few times before the World Cup, and like I think, did we go to like a diamond against Ajax and we look all right? I might be wrong. I think that was the game. We looked all right, but ultimately the same problems were still there. We went full circle, come back to the 4-3-3, and when we did, we actually, you know, we seen traits of old that looked really good, and we were like, oh, we maybe should have just stuck with it. But hey, we are where we are. It's back to 4-3-3. Players look a bit more comfortable now. Hopefully, we can build from there. And then, like, we've played since, and it just still doesn't quite look right. So credit to him for maybe trying to mix things up. But he did literally come back after that Dubai trip, you know, the mid-season break, and say, we look back at the games and we've been working on how we can be more compact as a team. Because it's quite obvious. We have been scoring goals, although I don't think we're particularly great at attacking. We do score goals, though. Undeniably, the stats show that. But we concede so many. And we give opposition so much so many chances, and we're always in a game. We're never clear, and it's a comfortable result. So it's obvious that he needed to work on that, but there's been no evidence of it, and there's been no changes since. I genuinely, I'm looking at games now going, show me something that you've worked on. Show me something that's an improvement, maybe a positioning or whatever. I tell you what, there's one, and I don't think Trent is going quite so wild and got this freedom up the pitch. He's looking like he's a bit more disciplined in his positioning. But other than that, I genuinely don't know what's been worked on to show that he has actually tried to get this team.
He's the only one that I was not willing to go to town on, and Nunes maybe today. Yeah. And normally we dare not mention Alisson in the shit chat, but he's ready to be in the shit chat as well. He had fucking howlers. Absolutely, it's like spreading throughout the fucking team. That's worrying.
Yes, with Alisson, right? He's been under so much pressure, and the performances he's been put in throughout the season. You talk about Liverpool's few good players this year. Alisson's probably number one, right?
Probably number one.
So
yeah, he is. Yeah.
Sometimes this can happen where it just comes in, it's just a bit too much. Fair. But you know what? Now I'm thinking, right? You guys are talking about the tactics of Klopp and how before the World Cup he was changing it up, and just made me think, right? When he played at that Arsenal and Liverpool looked really good in that first half, that 4-2-3-1, right? Then of course Diaz gets injured. I honestly think now, and it makes me think, okay, maybe that's why he signed Gakpo. I think that Diaz injury has thrown him off, like in terms of what he was planning to do in terms of the tweaks and everything. I think Diaz was a massive part of that. I think that injury,
Diaz and Jota, it's massive.
Yeah,
100%. I agree with you.
So now I think maybe that's why definitely he's gone, okay, let's just bring Gakpo. Then maybe I can go back to trying to do other things in the future and trying to rejig everything. Now that I think about it, I think that injury is more. Sometimes you miss a player and it's just like, okay, you're missing a really top player, but someone's going to come in and you'll get by. I think that's actually might have rattled him a little bit in that sense, where he's like, now what I was planning, I can't do it anymore. And then of course he thought he was going to come back, and then he picked up another knock. And I think again, I remember his quotes after that. He seemed like quite down about it, obviously. So yeah, just thinking about that, it's a bit mad.
You know what as well? Like, and I don't use the excuses for the reason as to why we're sixth. I would use it as to the reason why we'd be fourth or third, but not sixth, right? But you can't underplay how important Diaz is, because from the minute he come in, he's been brilliant. And I actually think at points, kind of this time last year onwards, really, momentum was carrying us, and Diaz come in and he was like a spark in terms of attack, willing to take people on, drifting by people and creating things. But I think in terms of the attack, I think we were beginning to kind of decline at that point, which was January of last year. We weren't as dynamic. We weren't as creative. The stats will tell me I'm wrong because we still scored the goals. But I think being in the hunt for the title still and all 4 trophies, I think that momentum really, the energy was still there and the fight was still there. And I think that carried us so much. And then you had that spark in Diaz. I think what's happened this season is we started poorly. So there's been no momentum, literally from Fulham onwards, and then Palace, no momentum. And in this title race, because we would have said we were in a title race, 2 draws at the start of the season, that's a killer straight off the bat. And then you lose Diaz, that spark, it exposes the tactics more. It exposes how good you are at actually using what you've got to create good attacks. And I don't think we're particularly good at it, to be honest.
Guys, let's try and get some more callers in. We've got a few, still about 5 waiting still. Let's try and wrap them up before we go off. Nilante is on next. Nilante, welcome to the streamer, bro. Hope you're keeping well.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Grizz. Big up to all of you in the panel. And Grizz, I'm a big advocate of you and the Big Six. So big up the rest of you anyway. So
you're a legend, bro. We appreciate you as well. Thank you very much for coming in.
One thing I will say, Grizz, that you probably won't remember because you get so much callers and viewers, is that I think there was a time that I called and I think my TV was on by mistake, and I think you kind of shut off the call, but I was just apologizing for it. But I think I've been, yeah.
My bad. No, do you know what? I wouldn't have thought you're mucking about, but sometimes I have to be careful because I get copyrighted. My stream gets taken off YouTube, so it's one of them ones. Misunderstanding, but we're here right now. We're here.
Oh, that's fine, Grizz, because you're me a meal too, so it's fine. Don't worry, we'll discuss that off here. Yeah?
Nice one.
Yeah, I don't know you guys. I mean, I don't know where to start with all 3 of you. Obviously, like all Liverpool fans, I watched the game tonight, and how do I explain the team? We'll look like we're lost in the wilderness. We'll look like we're in the desert, but we don't know where to go to our destination. That's what it looked like tonight. And the fact of the matter is, it's not just the fact of our pattern of play and the way we're playing. This was a Wolves second string team. Wolves had the intensity of. Let me just say that again? That was Wolves second string team, and they played us off the park like we're little boys, like we're Everton FC. That's how bad it was. And the funny thing is that we played the best available team that we could have, and it was just still a bit diabolical. Now, again, I've been hearing other chats and other forums about players, about Gomez, this player, that. But let's be real, like as you just both said, Alisson has been our star player this season, and that says it all. Alisson, our goalkeeper. Now, yes, he had a howler, and it weren't great, but I could forgive him for that. But what are the rest of the team doing? That is my question. And I know a few other points. Gakpo, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna be this agree, but I kind of agree with all of you. I personally wasn't invested in him. I didn't want him. He wasn't my first choice, in getting him. There's other areas to occupy, but we bought him. And again, the same with Núñez. Now, Núñez, again, I'm not his biggest fan. I didn't want him in the summer, but I can see his attributes. And again, I'm going to give him the chance and the benefit. But one thing that just baffles me, if you can answer me, these guys, why is it that Núñez, since he's been playing through the middle for us, he struggles a bit. He doesn't hold the ball. He doesn't bring men into play. And for a big man, he struggles with headers. But then again, when he's on the left, he's like a buzzard. He's moving in, he's moving out of the line, he's penetrating pools with the movement, he's coming in, he's getting in and assisting goals. So I'm a bit baffled by that. So can the three of you explain that to me? Now, in terms of Klopp, I'm going to say this. I'm a bit consistent now. I've been a Liverpool fan for a long time. Cav, I'm sure you have yourself. Grizz, I know you're a historian, so and I've seen the time at the times, the Souness era, the Roy Evans, 95, 96, 97, 98. We should have won the title. We've all been through that situation. Stevie G, God, that was the day after my birthday. Oh my God, man, I'll never forget that day. I was so depressed, honestly. I'll tell you, I wanted to headbutt the wall. But anyway, my thing is this. Now, Klopp has done a good job for us. Don't get me wrong. So I'm not going to be too overcritical, but I'm just a Liverpool fan. I want us to put our stamp on the mark on things. That's just the fan I am. And I'm going to be honest with you. If he leaves tomorrow, one Premiership trophy in 8 years, that's not great for me. I know you're going to say Pep and the money and the spending, but no, I'm sorry. We're Liverpool FC Football Club. And yeah, we have the spend. We've had the squads to win at least a back-to-back European Cup or more Premiership trophies. And that is the problem with us. We're too stagnant. We're not willing to push on since 1920. So I just like your thoughts from what I've just said.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm just going to very quickly go on the last point, and then the rest of the man can take on the big points that you made. Very quickly, I hear you. If at the end of Klopp's tenure, whenever that is, if he's not won another trophy, a major trophy. Sorry, man. 1 second. Sorry, guys.
You might as well take over then.
Yeah. I tend to agree. When you look at 8 years, only one Premier League, it don't sound great, but you have got to think of. See, I'm one of them fans where I look at the years we came short, and we came short by a point, and I look at the fact that it wasn't like mid-80s; it was 90+ seasons, and I really respect that. And look, that argument don't hold weight when you're speaking to rivals, because they'll just banter you and they'll just say, well, it's not a trophy, you're celebrating getting 90+ seasons and stuff. But in terms of me, this is the club I support, and this is the manager that I support, and has brought me the biggest highs that I've experienced in football. I'm not just going to dismiss it. And I have to give him the utmost credit and praise for getting us back to a position now. Okay, we've dropped off the season, but he's put us on that platform whereby now we actually are talking about the top stars in Europe. For most of my time supporting Liverpool, we were getting like second, third string options. And then even then they were like, whenever we were linked to players like Willian and Hazard and, and these kind of players, those always ended up at the rivals. So I've been through that period. And now, thanks to Klopp, we're even in the talking point of a Chouameni. We're talking about, you know, a Gakpo who is, you know, a really sought after striker in Europe. Man United have been speaking to him, you know, all last summer. Nunes, who is a really exciting forward. So trophies wise, some fans might be disappointed, but for me personally, for what makes me happy, I'm not going to overlook all the other things that he's managed to achieve.
Sorry, guys. I just made myself one of those proper, like one of the most expensive honeys you can talk about. Black pepper, lemon, all of them business, you know, like home granny remedies.
You'll be good by tomorrow morning.
Bro, I better be, because so many people have told me about this remedy. You know what I've done? I'm a madman, innit? You know I'm a madman, Bilal. I've mixed up all the remedies. So people have been sending me all different ones. So people have told me, yeah, do this. I said, you know what? You're all family. I'm going to use all of your remedies and put it all into one big potion.
Exactly.
So if I don't wake up tomorrow, handle the account, handle the business.
When you're ill, what's this thing called? Habasoda. If you ever know about this thing, it's pretty much like, I don't know, it's like, the black pepper kind of stuff, the honey, all of that stuff.
I don't think he needs more options. Let's just
He looks good. It
looks the business. Yeah, it also. Sorry, Nilante, I was got distracted. So basically, the only point I was going to make, and I think Cav gave his opinion on it, is when Klopp took over, we were 6th or 8th, guys. We had just been beaten the likes of Stoke, who are finished. Where are Stoke now? Championship somewhere, something. We got smashed 6-1. He had a team finished with players. He had to rebuild that squad, that team, the mentality, the club. At the same time, the owners had to make the stand, the new ground, the training facilities. All of that takes time, patience, and money. Money is something he hasn't had. We gave him patience, we gave him time. By the 3rd year of his reign, we were challenging for every major trophy there is. When I'm talking major trophy, I'm talking Champions League, I'm talking Premier League, I'm talking 90 points and above, 3 out of 5 seasons. I'm talking Champions League, 3 out of 5 seasons. I'm sorry, Bill, I was here. He knows I'm ready for a dig. They would dream of reaching 3 Champions League finals. Man United dream. Man City, they'd spend another £1 billion to get in the category we've been speaking. £1 billion and they won Champions League. Are you lot mad? We've won by the 3rd season, because 2 seasons, every sane Liverpool fan, logical, rational, calm, calculated Liverpool fan, I think would like to give Jurgen Klopp at least 2 years to start that rebuild when he first came in. So that means 5 years we're talking now. Last 5 years, he's won every single trophy there is to win. We deserve more, Nilante. We deserve more. I agree. It don't look good that he only won 1 Champions League, 1 Premier League, and all of the other trophies, okay? It doesn't look good. He should have won more. He should have. But I ain't here calling it disappointing or flop. Yeah, of course, every manager of every club wants to win more, every trophy. You're right. By the end of his reign, in my humble opinion, he needs to have at least 1 more of the big trophies. But like Cav says, and like you said earlier, in my lifetime, he's brought. I was just remembering the 2 FA Cup final, League Cup final last season. What I would do to be at Wembley again and bantering Chelsea fans and Man City fans like I was going wild, bro. That's why we need to cherish the highs, because it don't stay forever. This is a one-off manager. I read somewhere today, not read, you lot already know. He's 7th. Not 3rd, 4th, 5th. He's 7th in how much he's been able to spend. 7th since he's been here. And you're telling me he's achieved all of that with the 7th highest, 7th net spend. It's wild what he's done. Of course he's made mistakes. This summer, he's made hella mistakes. 100%. We've all said he's made mistakes. He should have seen the problem in midfield. Glaringly obvious. He should be less stubborn. He should be more flexible tactically. But I think he deserves time to fix it because where he's brought us. Yes, I agree with you if you're saying, I don't think I heard you say, but I'm pretty much assuming you think this is the end of the cycle for this team. Do you think that?
Yeah, pretty much. We need a refresher.
I agree.
Yeah, we definitely need a refresher.
I think Cav agrees with me. Me and Cav speak every day. So we agree that it's the end of the cycle. But right now, if you're saying, okay, no problem, you've won 7 trophies in 7 years, but 5 years was, when he should have been starting competing. So if you're telling me, okay, who do you want in charge of the rebuild? I want Klopp. What different do you want? I want money and Klopp. So I want Klopp and I want money, and then we see how we handle our business for the next 3-4 years. And I'm on that train. I ain't about, yeah, you know what Klopp's done out here. He's done what he's done. Yeah, ban him. People can, and people can make a case for it, but I'm not about that life right now. I want him to carry on. And if he doesn't fix up, then he'll be his worst own enemies. He'll walk away. He'll know where he fucked up. I already think inside he thinks. In fact, he admitted it. I made a mistake. I should have gone for a midfielder. But by the time he told the owners aren't flexible as well. The owners are a problem as well in this scenario. Because they didn't say, all right, you need an emergency midfielder. All right, fuck it. Let's take out a loan, 50, 60 million, and get you who you want, whatever you want. They said, oh, here's Arthur Melo on a free. On a loan, sorry. But it's a combination of errors. It's a combination of errors of judgment from both of them, in my opinion. So that's why I'm thinking I'm not ready to call him out yet. Agreed.
What's your point, Lance? Are you in the boat with me and Grizz, or?
I'm a bit mixed, to be honest, guys. My thing is, if we like, again, a lot of people, I'm sure you've heard on the chat, on other Liverpool fans, a lot of them have said about Mane this, Mane's gone, and yeah, look, Mane was my guy, like he's one of my favorite players, but at the end of the day, forget about Mane. At the end of the day, this squad is good, is easily good enough for top 4. Do you both agree with me?
Yes, hands down.
Yeah, top 4. So really and truly, we shouldn't be in this position. Now, my thing is, what I will say is this: at the end of the season, if we finish 6th or 7th, all I'm going to say is this: I'm not going to say Klopp out, but what I will say is, if the owners make a decision and say, you know what, Klopp, thanks for the memories, but we're going to go a different route, that was a good enough, then I, for one, I'm not going to grumble by it. That's all. Okay. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. You have every right to think like that, bro. No one can tell you how to think. No one. But you know what I mean? It is what it is. So you're absolutely right if that's how you feel about Jurgen Klopp and the team, and I can absolutely understand that frustration. But that's why I always say, for me, people think I've got this persona where I think I'm speaking on behalf of the Liverpool fan base. Come on, man. I'm just giving my opinion. I'm a no one. You understand? I'm just giving my opinion. I don't speak for everyone. Everyone can speak how they want. So if that's how you feel, that's absolutely right, man. And this is why I do shows like this where people can come on. You don't have to come on and agree, like the Churchill dog. You know what I mean? No, man. You have to come on.
Because of too much daytime TV. But anyway, that's another story.
No. Long time ago. But you know what I mean? People have to give their opinion and speak on it. And you've backed your argument with very rational, logical arguments, man. And you got a basis for that. So big up yourself, Nilante, man. We got a couple of callers to go still, and it's getting late.
No problem.
You're a legend. Bro. Thank you very much for coming in, bro.
Excellent. Good to speak to you.
You too, guys.
Cheers, buddy.
Guys, I've got a special message, man. I'm actually chuffed to bits with this one. Amir was the brother that reached out to us. He goes, hello, lads. I'm not sure if you remember me from a comment earlier in the week, but alhamdulillah, which means by the grace of God, I'm doing much better now. Mentally, I feel better, and I've had so much support. Thank you, Grizz. You don't need to thank me. That's a human thing that we done. Me, Cav, Bilal, whoever was on the show, Conroy, it wasn't thanks to us. It was thanks to you. Yeah. It was thanks to you. You reached out. You dealt with the matter. You the man. You're the brave man. You're the legend. And we're so glad that you're doing bro. You're so glad. Keep in touch, bro. Keep in touch.
Definitely.
Amazing.
Not easy thing. Like, most people would never ever say if they're going through something, they'll try to keep it to themselves. So yeah, big up, man, and take care of yourself, and prioritize yourself. Say alhamdulillah, all of that sort of stuff, and man, take care.
100%, man, 100%. That's what I'm saying. People better showing you love in the chat as well. Guys, where's the other super chat? Oh, Berlin sent in the super chat, but he hasn't attached nothing. I love Berlin in thing anyway. In Money Heist. I don't know if you lot watched. Yeah, legend.
Yeah, absolutely legend of a character.
But Berlin probably forgot to add it. So let's just, if we see a comment for Berlin, bring it up.
Yeah, we'll just start it. You know what I'd say though, just to add on that point, because the Klopp discussion, whether he's a failure or not, I'll honestly say just quickly, as an outsider, and I think that most people who are not Liverpool fans or not Man City fans over the last few years will have way more respect for the way Liverpool have done their stuff. And every Liverpool achievement has felt so pure compared to obviously Man City. And I don't think we have to be real and be like, we live in a time, especially Premier League, where the likes of Chelsea obviously came in, but the likes of Man City took it to another level in terms of the money invested and where it's coming from, and pumping up that club. Right, and I'm not coming for Man City fans or anything. Enjoy your club, enjoy the wins, because you have nothing to do with that. So I'm not coming for average Man City fans or anything like that. But watching Liverpool over the years, it's been the model club, right? For any club trying to come back up, like an Arsenal, every little conversation we used to have with Arsenal fans, just look at Klopp, look at what he's done at Liverpool. Just give it time, give it time. This is an argument used time and time again with Arteta when I'm talking to Arsenal fans, right? Liverpool have been that team that people have modeled themselves on. Even the likes of Todd Bowley, with all the money that he spent, he said, we want to be like Liverpool. So it's not, I don't think he's been a failure in any way. Even if he left today, Liverpool, he would be one of the greatest managers, Jurgen Klopp, to ever be in the Premier League. And his achievements alone in the Premier League, taking the Liverpool from where they were and gotten them to the heights of being champions of Europe. I think all of that together, the domestic trophies, I don't think you can go wrong with it. But of course, if you're a Liverpool fan, you want to see more. You want to see another Premier League, and that's fair enough because it is Liverpool. But I think, honestly, as an outsider, Liverpool have been that team where you've seen them win these trophies, and it's just felt like they actually deserve it in the football they've played and the points tallies they put up. And as I said, the suffocation feeling I used to have playing Liverpool Arsenal games, it's not like any other team that I faced. Maybe bar Bayern Munich coming to the Emirates or something like that. But Liverpool have just been that team, man. So yeah, big respect.
Hey, Billa,
I love highlighting. Sorry, go on. I was gonna say I love highlighting these kind of comments.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Billa, if you could just have a word with all the rivals, right? You just talked about how much you respected us. Then maybe we have a little bit of leeway when it comes to the banter, right? You respected us for so long, and now you see us in this state.
I think, honestly, right, because it's funny how football changes, and you can never control all fans. And I've seen, listen, Arsenal fans and Liverpool fans over the last few years, like just seeing, obviously, the Liverpool-Tottenham final, Champions League, there's only one team Arsenal supporting that day, right? And there's been so many instances where I think Arsenal have looked, even Arteta himself, highlighting Pep Linders as someone he wanted to even bring into Arsenal and try and get some of that, whatever was going on at Liverpool. But really and truly, I think, of course, there's always going to be banter. I think I always see Saliba, Konate stuff, right? And this is just normal. This is always going to happen. At the end of the day, as much as we all respect each other, especially I think when it comes to Arsenal, Liverpool, not Arsenal United or Arsenal Tottenham, something like that. But normally when you respect each other, but you're still rivals trying to compete for the same thing, you're going to have clashes here and there and all of that sort of stuff. It's never going to be love all the time. But outside, when just looking at it from a purely footballing perspective, there's so much that Liverpool have done right over the years that so many teams who've been trying to come back up have looked at it. And, it's up to Liverpool now to just evolve again and come up with a new way of getting themselves back up. And if you can do that, then you'll be good. But it's just about finding that new way and new direction.
Was there anything else that I wanted to bring up? 1 second. Was there a super chat? No. Okay, let's bring in Diallo, who's been waiting patiently as well. Diallo. Welcome to the stream, my bro. Hope you're keeping well.
Thanks, Grizz. How is everyone? Can you well?
Yeah,
big up, bro. Yeah, big up.
Awesome.
Grizz, you're not well. What did you say yet, Paul?
I'm feeling better already, actually.
Yeah, that stuff must be good. Send the recipe over.
I'm telling you, this cocktail is doing me nice. But people in the chat, it's a halal cocktail before people start coming for me. You understand? Yeah, I know. Bilal, you need to make these things clear, man. You ain't got my back. You was like trying to do me dirty earlier and shit, man. I'll see you. But Diallo, welcome to the stream, man. Don't let us put you. What you got in the background, Diallo? You watching something? Oh, Diallo, Diallo, if you could just turn that off, please, I beg you.
Oh, geez, sorry. I'm watching the NFL. This is like the
yeah.
last...
Just in case, people, it's weird, man. Sometimes I'm just gonna take your camera off while you do it. But you can still talk. Just take the camera off.
I think I can just turn it off. With my...
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Legend.
Sorry about that.
No, cool.
So I didn't even realize you were showing up. You know what? I heard you on Friday in the Big Six. I didn't know you were that sick until I tuned in today and I could hear your voice. It's great that
they thought I'm making excuses.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But your voice today sounded terrible, so I just hope that what you're drinking, makes you feel better. Yeah, and big up Kall and Bilal. Bilal, you know what? Yesterday I was at the masjid. You know, I saw a guy. I literally ran towards him. I thought that was you, man. Like I went this guy.
Man's
I've
out
got
here,
a
bro. I'm telling
doppelganger.
you.
I had this conversation with one of my friends. He said to me, like, you know, everyone's got like 7 doppelgangers. You might find
Yeah.
one of them. Man.
You know, the reason is I haven't seen you on stream since the World Cup, but I haven't been tuning in regularly. And I was like, is Bilal traveling? So when I saw it, I was like, he must be in Boston right now. So, you know, anyway. So, and then I realized it wasn't you because I just talked to the guy and, you know, anyway. Yeah. It's been a long time, Grizz. It's been like, I think the last time I joined this call was like the Ramadan.
We were good. We were
20
good, maybe. When we were good, maybe.
Yes, when Liverpool was good and when Arsenal were not so good, you know, because I came like, unfortunately, Arsenal is not doing well. I don't want to talk about Arsenal, talk about Liverpool and how the tables have turned. Who would have?
I don't know. Bilal, maybe did you see this? Because Diallo's an Arsenal fan. Did you see this turnaround? Because Diallo, yeah, you're right. I think we spoke maybe a couple of months ago, maybe. Was it a couple of months ago?
But you were like about to finish. But the last time we talked, legit talk, was like Ramadan of 2021. That was when I came here.
Wow.
You know, Sadio Mane was still there. Like Keita was like on the good books, not so much, but he was still kind of like, you have one more chance, you know. And as you know, I'm from Guinea and Senegal, so I was like here talking big about those two guys. But man, you know, one of the reasons why I came here really is to offer my sincere apology for Naby Keita. He's I cannot even believe how his life has gone down at Liverpool. It's just been like horrible for everyone, and even in Guinea, you know, like because I follow the local news in Guinea. Even us Guineans are shocked at just how bad he looks. You know, even for the national team, he doesn't really turn up. He's always injured. It's really bad because the national team, he's like the main guy. He's the most talented player we have. He's the captain, but like he doesn't show up, you know, whenever we need him. And like now we have young players like Moriba Ilahi from Barcelona, you know, Mohamedou Jawara. Those guys, he was at Napoli, now in Anderlecht. Young guys who need him, but he doesn't show up. It's really, really terrible. And whenever he plays, he just looks like he's 45. It's really sad because the talent is there. Even today, when you see him, he comes on the pitch. You know that he's got the brains, but for whatever reason, he's lost all athleticism and motivation. I don't know. You know, whenever you see players like him, you know, we have similar players also, even at Arsenal, that they generally they're not fit all the time, but it's not like impact injuries like what happened to Jack Wilshere or Ramsey. It's like those niggles. Every now and then they have a niggle. For me, that is, I'm sorry, but that just screams lack of professionalism. Players who are like really professional, who look after themselves, look after their bodies, go to sleep on time, you know, eat well, train well. They're generally available and fit, except when there's like a freak injury, you know. They generally look after themselves and they're fit. And he just doesn't look like he cares anymore. And it's really, really sad. So that's one thing I just want to say, you know, hands up. You know, on behalf of all Guineans, Keita.
No, you don't need to do that, bro. You don't need to do that. He's let himself down. Look, he's let himself down. As I said, whether it's his body's let him down, whether his attitudes let him down, whether the Klopp's let him down, whether the other players let him down, it's a combination of everything. And there's no shame. We have to admit it. Call a spade a spade. He's being a flop at Liverpool.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it. I was his biggest fan. I told you, lot. I was on that propaganda, Naby Keita propaganda from 5 years ago. He's been a flop for whatever reason. So you don't need to apologize for him, man. He done it to himself.
But so that's one thing I wanted to say. So now that we've got that out of the way, the other thing is, you know, I live in Boston. I don't know if you know. I mean, you definitely know about Boston because Liverpool, you know, and talking about the fans, how the fans are feeling, it's actually for me a little bit shocking that this is actually coming up, that fans are becoming more and more loud about Klopp out. I know that there's like, you know, it's been quite a surprising this season so far. I mean, I think even like the most ardent Liverpool fans will tell you that this is not what Liverpool are going through now was not expected. You know, you could see the cracks, but like it looks like a massive crack. You know, so I know that even the biggest fans will tell you that this is worse than what they feared. You know, like the way the team is playing. But like, you know, I live in Boston and like there's a there's a place where we go to watch regularly here. It's called Phoenix London. It's a Liverpool pub. I mean, I don't drink, but I go there even for the World Cup. I go up there. So it's always very full, and the fans, Liverpool fans, that's one thing. Very classy. They turn up, they represent their team. There's never really any problems or fights or any of that. They're really, really classy fans. At least abroad. I've never been to the city of Liverpool. I don't know how they are, over there. I don't know how the Liverpool fans around feel that. But the ones that I come across abroad, in the US, in South Africa and in West Africa, they're very, very classy and they know football. So for me, hear what they're talking about, Klopp out so soon, looking at all the flaws that are in the team. I watch almost every Liverpool game, mostly because I like Jurgen Klopp, and I also like the way they used to play, not anymore, unfortunately. So I just try to watch whatever game I can. It's very clear where the problem is. And, it's sad to me that people are just running away with Klopp out. And it's actually shocking to me that it's becoming louder, as the weeks are going. I'm like, are these guys crazy? So I don't know, Grizz. I'm actually really shocked that this is actually becoming a thing.
Don't be shocked. It's impossible to be shocked in 2022 or 23 now, isn't it? With anything. Social media is so powerful, so strong. Idiots like me have a channel where I can just speak and influence people. So if idiots like me, can have a say and shout, then there's millions and millions of people out there that social media has given a voice to, and they spout rubbish. And they spout their rubbish, they spout their opinion. One man's opinion is another man's crap.
Yeah.
That's how it is, man. That's how it is. So don't be surprised, bro. It is what it is. But let me tell you something very quickly before I get used to, guys. Very, very few people, and I'm not going to say it's too controversial. I get hate on all that shit. Am I really going to bottle saying something on my own stream, guys?
Say it, man. Nah, man.
No,
Say it.
No. We'll pull it down to the illness if it's wild, Grizz. So just say it.
All right. In my humble opinion, I have no facts to back this. There is less than 3 to 5% match-going fans that want Klopp out. Less than 3 to 5%. I'm pretty certain that there's 3 to 5% if match-going fans want Klopp out. That's all I'm going to say. Whether you want to take that controversially and say, I'm not saying match-going fans are better. Or whether you're saying they got more rights, no. Or whether they're more important, no. Or whether they have more relevant, no. I'm just giving you my opinion. I think it's less than 3 to 5%.
Normally, right? Match-going fans are like the last people to ever turn on a manager. And I mean last, especially when it's a club like Liverpool or was a club like Arsenal. It only became noticeable with Arsenal, right? I remember there was going to games and there'll be like pockets of like 10, 20 people outside the stadium. Wenger out, right? And obviously over time that created a little snowball effect. And then as the team progressively got worse and worse, then the way you now gauge is the match-going fans Wenger out is when you start seeing empty seats all over the Emirates Stadium. You start seeing more and more empty seats. Same thing with Unai Emery. The fans didn't even bother going anymore. That was their way of saying that we've had enough, right? But it took a while to get to that stage, obviously, especially for Wenger, 22 years at the club or something like that. So yeah, but with the Klopp, until the fans start doing that, the match-going fans, then listen, I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. So whether even 3% is probably too much, maybe even 2 or 1. I don't go obviously to Anfield, so I don't know. But I doubt it's that high.
I don't even, you know what? I don't even think it's 5%. I don't know. I think I've gone a bit high. I don't even think it's 5%.
There's no grumblers, is there? You know what I mean? Even after a disappointing display, there's no boos. There's nothing, is it? Everyone's disappointed, but I don't.
Mad disappointed. We're angry. Of course, we're angry. Look how much anger we've shown. Look how much frustration we've shown. We've cussed Klopp. We've given our opinion on Klopp. We've only given an opinion, and then Bilal humbled us very quickly. He said, "You know what, guys? I agree with you about Gakpo and this and that, but at the end of the day, these guys are in the jobs for a reason. They know what they're doing." And then you have to just humble yourself and say, yeah, the benefit of that goes to them. But we can still speak on it.
100%.
We can still speak on it. But then hopefully we get proved wrong and we look like idiots.
Do you know what I like? The thing is with this conversation, right, is when people say, "Oh, you can't say Klopp out, you can't say Klopp out."
Yeah.
I'm not about that, because I'm thinking I'm Klopp in, and I believe that he's going to turn it around, and I believe in him. But I'm also open. I really want people that are Klopp out to come to us and say, the reason I'm Klopp out is because the guy, and you've got to have a guy that you think can take over and do a better job. He's going to do X, Y, and Z, and that's why I think it's going to work for us. It might not have worked in the past, but I think moving forward, I think this is the guy for us, because he's going to do this and give us the pros and cons. And then I'm open, as I think we all are. And that's why we like these discussions, to say, give me all the evidence for Klopp out. And if I still choose Klopp in, at least it's a good informed decision either way. And I think that's what I want to see from the fans, is don't just shout Klopp out, or give me the solution. You know what I mean? You're chucking someone out. Give me what you think's better, because you must think something's better. Otherwise, all you're asking for is, I just want change. I just want change. I don't care what change is.
Yeah,
and that's
not all
radical.
change is good. Exactly, not all change is good. Sometimes it's better to stick with the devil, as they say.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but we're at a point in time. We've never ever questioned Klopp before. We are at a point in time where some people are, but sometimes it's a healthy discussion as long as you come in with some good.
The previous caller was of the opinion that he wants Klopp out. I'm fine, no problem. I didn't cut him off or take him off the stream, so you're chatting shit. He had his opinion, he's entitled to it. But it's always good, and I always try and bring it down to outsiders' opinions, non-Liverpool fans, and used to have seen, I think it's fair to say, one of the most toxic fan bases developed over the last. No, am I being fair or am I being unfair?
No. Listen, I'm watching WrestleMania. I don't even watch wrestling anymore, but I'm seeing Wenger out signs. That's how I'm trying to get away from the football. I'm seeing Wenger out. It is like.
But look what a bit of patience has done you guys.
Yeah. You're right about the fans.
Diallo, I remember me speaking to you, and even when Arteta and I was like, guys, I can see from the outside what he's trying to do. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's the reason why I actually gravitated towards your channel and to some because it's not just following the bandwagon and following these cultish just shouting matches. You actually think about how football is built both on and off the field. You don't just look at an event. That's what I call event analysis. Look, okay, we lost the last 3 games. Klopp out, or I don't know, Trent got dribbled past, and Liverpool's last 3 goals that they considered all came from Trent's side, therefore he's shit. Without actually looking at the full picture, you just look at one event and you use that to analyze and make a broad, conclusion on something that's actually much bigger. So I agree with you. You said that very early on, even when Arteta was in the mud.
On the ropes.
Yeah, exactly. And to be honest, my patience was tested. I'm sure Bilal's too. It wasn't easy. But
100%.
Sometimes it's a little bit of a blind faith, but that little bit of faith, that because you see something, maybe it hasn't crystallized yet, but you see it there. But with people like Klopp, come on, there's no blind faith. It's not even it's not even like hoping. You know the caliber of a manager he is and what he's done, what he's achieved, and it's just, for me. I'm not saying I'm surprised with people saying it. It's the level of the decibel level is rising in a rate that I wasn't expecting. That's all. There will always be those idiots.
It is what it is, bro. It is what it is, man.
It is what it is.
Diallo, I'm so sorry to cut in, but I'm looking at the time and I need some sleep as well, man. And I'm sorry I couldn't give you much longer today, but always a pleasure speaking to you, bro.
You're good, man. Take care, guys.
Good to speak to you.
Nice one.
Cheers,
Look after yourself. Take care. Guys, there's 3 of you in the thing. I can only let 1 of you on now. I'm sorry, and it's going to be Quasi. I'm sorry. It is what it is, man. I'm not feeling well. As you guys know, it's always channel members get first priority and new callers. You already know the drill. One last super chat that we're going to try to read out as well. KD says, demanding Klopp out after 4 bumpy months. 6 months after almost winning the quad. First, see if he turns it around, especially after next season with new players. That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
Fair.
It's fair, isn't it? That's where I'm at.
Yeah. Fair enough.
That's me anyway. I mean, as I said, do you, man? Do you? Yeah, bro. Blimey, Grizz just joined the live. You seem like you need some ginger, garlic, lemon, honey, and boiling water.
It's cooking up a madness for you.
This is more than that, brother. That's all I can say. This is a cocktail of the most ancient remedies from generations passed down from many a tribe. You understand? You better understand.
Serious
So,
stuff.
yeah, serious, brother. Let's get Quasi in the building. Quasi, you're very welcome, my friend. Hope you're doing well.
Doing well. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New
Happy
Year,
New
bro.
Year.
Cheers.
Yeah, we haven't seen you guys since.
Oh, we haven't. Yeah.
No.
Thank you. How happy New Year to you as well, my brother. Well,
Thank you.
you know, apart from football, happy New Year.
Yeah.
Everything else, happy New Year.
Yeah, I mean, right now, California, I mean, ask Blue Chip, they're underwater right now. We asked for water, and this time the Lord was like, here you
Oh
go.
man, of course.
Yeah.
Stay safe, man. Stay safe.
I saw
All
the
people that-
storms.
I heard
Like,
about that.
seems to happen regular, man. Like, I always see Northern California madness.
All I want to hear is I don't want to hear any drought in California anymore because this amount of water, we should be good
Wow.
for another 5 years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hope everyone stays safe, man. That's the
Yeah.
first thoughts.
But hey, the gentleman, I think is Lauki or whatever his name was. I used lime instead of lemon. That thing, I'm telling you, it saved me from COVID. I'm not saying I'm a medical professional and saying it will cure COVID, but I'm just saying that
I'm just saying to you that was one of the ingredients that was recommended, and I put that shit in as well. So I'm telling
Every
you, there's nothing that you guys can come out with that's not in that. I'm telling you, I went wild. Oh, that's the strongest potion. You don't understand how I'm drinking this.
yeah,
Like,
perfect.
this is horrible.
You'll force it down.
Listen, no. I'm sipping it down, like, because I'm that ill. I reckon that I need this, so I'm forcing it. Otherwise, if I drink, you lot drink this, you get knocked out, man. Straight. You lot can't handle this shit. Only real ones can handle this. I'm telling you now.
Okay, you ever heard a man speak so much about a night nurse? Seriously.
You got me. But Quasi,
Go
man,
on.
talk to me, man. What's going on?
Man, I've been patiently. I wanted to go 8 on my boy Klopp, but listen to what everybody's saying. I think I'm gonna chicken out a little bit. But one thing that stands out is that comment he made. I think was at the beginning of the week, where he said, "We got Gakpo," and it turns around and everybody's saying, "What's next?" I think that to me that was disrespectful to the fans because we all know we have a problem, and he has numerally said Liverpool fans know football. So if the fans are saying we need a midfielder, where we've been saying that since we won the league. Yes, you brought in Thiago, but that was not enough. Even then, we saw Anderson's leg was going down around that time. If you said that, why are you gonna go say that? It makes it seem like you're telling the fans that we are ungrateful, you know? Because we go to war for you. Yeah, I know there's a few knuckleheads saying Klopp out. Nah, I'm frustrated with Klopp. I would never say Klopp out, you know? And I think his PR needs to change his wording nowadays. Just come in and say, hey, we are working hard. We trying. We're not at our best. You guys know our best. You've seen our best. And we're not there yet. We will get there. And leave it as that. But the more he tried to make us believe that there's something special coming in every game, we don't see that special thing coming. You got some people with short fuse who just blow up and they start making stupid comments on Twitter. And you know how some of these influencers are. And then the major media will come out and say, what's hot out there? Oh, they want Klopp out. Then they'll have somebody like Keys comes in and make a comment like, yeah, Klopp needs to go. And then everybody jumps on that fire. And then it becomes like, oh, that's what the fans want, which is not true, you know? But one thing that I would say is they need to at least give us a glimpse of a plan or the vision where they're going. Because if they were to do that, the fans will sit back and say, you know what? The league is gone. Probably the FA Cup is gone. The League Cup is gone. We're just going to focus on try to get as high in the league as possible. And then let's see what happens in the Champions League, which is we sit at the table when it comes to that tournament, you know? But right now it's like he is trying to tell us something and we are looking at him like, Klopp, come on. Like today, right? Gakpo had a ball in the midfield where he dribbled 2 players, made a good run. The fans were happy, and he gave a pass to Henderson. And then Henderson almost got his legs broken up. It felt like he gave him a hospital pass. But when you look at it, you'll be like, Henderson's legs, come on. I even tweeted about it. I was like, that guy's leg is not there anymore to be able to get to that pass, because Henderson gets to that pass, it's an open pass to Salah or Nunez, you know. So the fans are looking, and it's warring times. But one thing that Brother Grizz did that I'm still keeping as hope is when he went on Big Six and sang the "You Never Walk Alone" song.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something.
The
streets, yeah, the streets are talking to me.
You
I
know?
need to do something. I need to cook something.
But then when I sat down, I'm like, Klopp is going to rebuild this. That is where my excitement is. Every day I'm frustrated when we don't play well. But then I'm looking at it like, Klopp is going to fix this. And if Nunez 10 is to be believed, this kid is going to be special. Now, one thing that I also want to say real quick is, Liverpool fans, stop putting one player and think that the midfield is going to be fixed. No. Even if Caicedo comes in, we still need another player and need another player. We need a whole new midfield. We need energy, youth, and, you know, some cerebral in there. Hence the reason why he's going so hard for Jude, because Jude has all three of them. He's young, but he's still got the smartest of the game, right? His IQ is at a high level. And then he got energy, right? You put that with Caicedo, and then you put that with that Nunez that we saw today, that 30 minutes, what he did today, that's Liverpool back on top again. The defense can relax. The attackers now can try to score more goals. So that's I was going to vent really hard with Klopp because I felt like that comment was disrespectful, and he needs to stop trying to let us believe that it's going to work while we know Henderson's legs are gone. Come on. You know, Thiago.
I agree with you, bro. I agree with you. And I understand when you first probably wanted to come on and you was raging and you wanted to say all those things. I understand, because I think we said some wild stuff at the start as well, probably. Me, Cav, you know, as Liverpool fans. Bilal was just obviously smiling. But I agree with you. Everything that you've said, I know those feelings. We all, you know why? You know why? Because we're all Liverpool fans. How can we be Liverpool fans and not have those feelings?
The storylines, yep.
It makes no sense. Otherwise, we're totally deluded if we don't see the issues and we think everything is fine and everything's rosy. Kev, am I right? I don't know.
You are. And do you know what else as well? Is what we can't deny, or I think anyway, is that we have had periods during Klopp's tenure at the club where things haven't been great, and we've looked at him going, what are you doing? Like, you aren't thinking straight. And I've sat here, not here, but like in years gone by, and thought to myself, especially the COVID season, and thought, he's such a brilliant manager, but I feel like I just need to take him out of Liverpool, have a week off, just like settle, get your head straight again, look at big picture, and then return. I so often think that, right? Obviously, it will never happen. It's ridiculous. But sometimes I do, like, especially the COVID season with the centre-backs and all this, I think he kind of gets a bit in his head because he's so involved, he's so invested, he's trying to find in-house solutions that sometimes we as fans, we look at it and it's like, yo, it's not that deep. You just need to drop the line, you just need to press less, make sure the fullbacks don't bomb on aimlessly, don't play Trent in as a 10, make sure he's defensively solid. There's little things that we can see, and then we have this magnificent manager that's built this incredible system and it's fantastic. Yet he's not seeing the basics, or maybe he is, and we're just not seeing what he's trying to do to resolve it. But sometimes I feel like we've kind of been here before, but this is probably the worst experience we've had with Klopp not doing so well.
Quasi, would you say this is worse than the centre back season?
Yeah, because the centre back, we knew what it was.
Because in that season, playing midfielders at centre back and this and that, at some point fans were just like, look, I know the defenders we've got ain't great, but just leave them there because the midfield is suffering. And actually what happened in that period is we were struggling to score. It was affecting the attack. Before we knew it, we were in this position we're in now where the attack don't look great, defensively we look weak. And you're just like, I tell you what, stop putting square pegs in round holes. Let's go back to basics. But the defenders we do have, we know they're rubbish, but put them in their position. Put the midfielders in their position, and let's at least have a good attack if we're going to be leaky. And sometimes I think as fans, this is where, obviously Klopp's the expert. He's the man with all the knowledge. But I do feel like sometimes as fans, there's some things that we commonly say that I believe are true, and it feels like it's just they're not being addressed at times. So
I don't know.
That's what I think's happening.
Somebody's asking me if I can play midfield. Trust me, I can give you 5 good minutes, and you will have to need an oxygen tank and defibrillator on the side to play a club system. So if you got 5 minutes,
many would take 5 minutes right now, bro. Many would take 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like it's horrible to watch us. I would say I keep saying it and I mean it, and I sometimes think maybe I'm overreacting when I say we're the easiest team to play right now. And I don't mean in the league. I don't mean in the league, but definitely in the top 6. And I'm putting Chelsea in there and I'm putting Spurs in there. And I know Chelsea are below us and everything, but I'm telling you now, we're the easiest team to play right now. Man City struggled against them the other day.
And with me with Klopp is Klopp. If he changed the system, we will be fine. And I know it hurts him because Klopp is a manager like Pep and Wenger and those guys. They're like, my staff works, you know, and sometimes they'll be like, I'm just going to do it just to keep these people quiet. But I've seen Pep change his system against us in the Carabao Cup. He went 4-2-3-1 and we went 4-3-3 and we saw the result. And when they came to Anfield, we did the opposite. Some people say we did 4-4-2, but I believe we did 4-2-3-1, and we were able to, you know, hit them in places where they were not ready. What's the name? KDB was lost, you know. So I think if he changed the system a little bit, he will be. I think we'll be fine, and just bring the line back. You know, bring the line back. And one thing I want to say real quick is, VVD, I think he's frustrated. We need to talk about that. VVD is very frustrated. I think that frustration has been coming for a very long time, right? He's been saying stuff off the cuff that is not VVD like. You know, we need players. We need this. We're like, VVD, you never used to say that. I know he did say something against, I didn't say he said against Van Gaal, but he made a little comment about with Van Gaal. But with Liverpool, even before Gakpo came in, he made a comment where I'm like, why are you speaking? You know, so I think there's a little bit of frustration in the club right now. Maybe some people are feeling like those issues are not being tackled yet. That's the reason why a lot of people are saying, why do we go for Gakpo instead of putting up neck, you know, all our eggs in a midfielder, whether it's a defensive midfielder or whatever, right? And personally, Kudus was the guy. Yes, I'm shameless, Ghana. But I think Kudus will be the guy because then he will put pressure on Salah. Salah is way too comfortable right now. You know, you got that money, and I don't want to go there, but you are way too comfortable. That's why I believe that incentives works. Score more goals, you make a lot of money. But we need midfield to help that because I feel sorry for Nunes. I feel sorry for Gakpo. I feel sorry for Salah because that midfield that's supposed to make them good is not there anymore. And we thinking that just bringing Caicedo is going to work. Yes, it will give a little bit of energy, but it's going to burn out. Remember, this is the EPL we're talking about, you know? So Caicedo need a Nunes and a Jude to be able to do what Caicedo is doing at Brighton because who does he have? McAllister and who's the other guy's name? I forgot his name.
We've got loads of players to Pascal.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Pascal Grobe, yeah.
And they have so much energy. So and I'm even going to say this. Everton yesterday playing against Manchester United. They have some 2 players that have so much energy towards the final third that Casemiro was struggling. That's why they subbed him. It wasn't because, we rested him because no. He was struggling. Look at the goal. How they brushed him off to score that goal, right? So we need that kind of energy. And even if we want to go back a little bit, Argentina versus France. When Griezmann and Dembele and them guys left, and they brought Thuram and the other guys had a lot of energy against the Argentina midfield. The game changed, and all of a sudden, Mbappe became Mbappe again.
But to add to your point, Kwasi, energy is great, and I totally agree, but it has to be well placed because at the minute, and this is the point I tried to raise earlier with getting a midfielder isn't going to solve everything. Tactically, we need to be better, and it's because today, right, there was clear signs. I'll give you one example. Can you remember towards the end of the game, I think it was 10 minutes to go, Robertson bombed on past everybody to press the centre-back who had the ball.
Right.
And it looks, all the fans are like, brilliant, here's the guy providing
and then they
the energy.
got the ball and
He's
put him back in his
carrying.
spot.
Exactly. And this is the point I'm trying to make is you can get a Casado, you can get a Jude, you can get all these players. But first and foremost, if Robbo's going to bomb on and press, I'm just picking out one scenario, make sure someone's covered that position and make sure everyone's gone with him. Make sure that happens, right? And at the minute, I take people's point is the midfielders can't do that because they're tired, they ain't got the legs, and that's where the new midfielders would help. But don't dismiss the fact that if people are going to start running off and provide that energy, this team has got to react around them. And that's where I don't think the team are reacting at the minute. Because you're seeing it from Thiago, you're seeing it from Henderson, they do this. It's really inspiring run past all of our players to go press the opposition goalkeeper, but it's leaving gaping holes. And that's where I think Klopp needs to improve tactically to get the team more compact.
Guys, it's about that time. It's about that time. Quasi.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
I know this is the most frustrated I've seen you.
Right.
I hope everything works out, man. That's what I can say.
Now, it's good that you kept me waiting because if I come in, I would have said something and I have to come back and be like,
Come back,
I'm sorry.
There you go.
I didn't mean to say all this stuff, you know.
But you came on calma.
I came a real calma, you know. It's a humbler, like you said. It's a humbler. And one thing that I want to say real quick, please. All these people talking about 8 years, 1 trophy this, 1 trophy that. Chelsea, how many trophies within that same time that Liverpool's been playing they got? Pep will give 2 of his EPL to get 1 of the Champions League. All right? Klopp has done a magnificent job. It's not easy. This is the people talking about EPL. It's not EPL anymore. It's the Super League. It's not easy, people. Ask the Arsenal fans sitting here smiling. What do you think now he's relaxed? His hairline is growing back to his eyebrow. Go back and check Bilal last year and see what his hairline was. And they come tell us, 1 trophy this, 1 trophy that. No, Klopp has done a wonderful job. You know, even if in next 6 years, if he does 1 at each year, trust me, we all going to be smiling all the time. 2 things we wanted from him. Be competitive and win trophies. Did the man do his job?
Yeah, he has.
He's done it. He's done it 100%.
Quasi, love up, bro.
Thank you. 2023 is our year, guys. We got this.
Go. Let's go.
Cheers, Quasi.
Dean, I see you in the studio, my bro. Way too late now, man. We've been going 3 hours now. Sorry, Dean. No more callers. We're going to try and wrap this up right now. Yo, this has been an epic stream, you know. Still close to 500 man in here. Like, there was 700 constantly. You guys are, I don't know what to say about the support and love that you guys show, man. And I hope we come across like normal, everyday fans, man. Like, that's the whole purpose of these channels, in my opinion, anyway. We're not sat here trying to look like experts and analysts and know-it-alls. That's not me, anyway. And I'd like to think that every time I have someone with me, like Cav, like Bilal, like Conrad, like all the other guys, hope we give you the same impression, man. But yeah, 2023 has started off real bad if you're a Liverpool fan, real good if you're an Arsenal fan. Don't really care about anyone else right now, man. We got to look after our own. Cav, Bilal, anything to end on?
Well, not much. I think just FA Cup weekend. Yeah, and just like, let's just continue the football. I think it's just going to be mad the next few weeks. You look at the fixtures, you look at the games, it's just going to be, I think there's big games like every couple of days at this point. So yeah, all the football's back, man. And that's, I guess, giving us something to talk about at the very least.
Yeah, we're going to come alive. We're going to come alive in the next few weeks and months, man. So subscribe if you haven't already. You're mad if you haven't subscribed. Like the stream if you haven't. You're mad if you haven't liked the stream. And I guess RedFellas tomorrow, innit, Cav, where we'll have to dig a bit deeper. We'll have a few, what's the word? Difficult conversations, I think.
I think so. I think we've got to have some of them conversations. Yeah.
100%. All right, guys. Love.
Cheers, chat.
Peace, prosperity. And I'm going to have another swig of my, what's the word? Concoction. How do you say it?
Your concoction. That's it. Yeah.
That's the word.
Word of the day.